Chapter 1043. Bark Mirror Monarch watched the huge four-hooved white-haired creature leave. He could not help but turn to Pei Feng Sage. Pei Feng Sage, why do I feel like Lord Mirage's aura is getting weaker? Do you still need to ask? Pei Feng Sage looked coldly at him. You are an undying special being with the power of a universe knight. Reviving you is comparable to reviving a universe high-level knight. Teacher reversed time and space to save you. He had to endure the universe backlash. Luckily, Teacher is at the peak of universe lords. That's why he was able to endure the backlash. You should know that each wave of the backlash could easily annihilate an overlord of the universe. That continuous backlash, Teacher withstood it all. Pei Feng Sage said, even you can sense the change in Teacher's aura. Clearly Teacher is heavily injured and needs many treasures to recover. Bark Mirror Monarch was dumbfounded. Actually, the Mirror King didn't know that the existence of the Universe Overlord could only be revived by the strongest of the universe. Like him, even though he only had the power of a normal universe knight, he was an undying. Hence, reviving him was comparable to reviving a high-level knight. The backlash was indeed very strong. For existences like universe lords, even if they were injured, Bark Mirror Monarch would not sense it. However, Bark Mirror Monarch sensed it. Clearly Lord Mirage was heavily injured. Pei Feng Sage looked at him and said coldly, My North Border Alliance values your potential, but to reverse time and space and revive experts requires a huge price. For example, the backlash of those Emperor Undyings, universe lords can easily recover from it. However, the backlash of reviving a universe knight has to rely on oneself to recover. Even universe lords need a very long time. Pei Feng Sage said coldly, You know the rules, this is a free revival. The next time you die, the price of reviving you will have to be paid by yourself. That isn't something normal universe knights can afford. I understand. Bark Mirror Monarch gritted his teeth. Remember, you have already died once. Pei Feng Sage said coldly. Bark Mirror Monarch gritted his teeth. This was where Pei Feng Sage's palace was, and also the core area of the North Border Alliance. It was similar to the primal secret region of humanity. Hence the high and mighty Lord Mirage dared to revive Bark Mirror Monarch without worry. Knife River. Bark Mirror Monarch gritted his teeth. Let me remind you. Reverend Pei Feng's 6 eyes flickered with disdain. Before you become a universe sovereign, don't even think about taking revenge on Blade River King. Bark Mirror Monarch could not help but glare at him angrily. The Blade River King's strength is comparable to the universe's high-level sages. Empyrean Wind said, I was accidentally injured. Although I was careless, he is indeed very powerful. What? Bark Mirror Monarch's eyes widened in shock. You're not a universe supremacy. You have no hope of defeating him, let alone killing him for revenge. Reverend Pei Feng shook his head and took a step forward, returning to his palace. Only Bark Mirror Monarch was left standing in the empty void square with a sinister expression. Saber River. Blade River. King Mirror clenched his claws, his expression twisted. While Bark Mirror King was furious, Circe's Island in the Ancestor God's secret realm was bustling with noise and excitement. Hundreds of millions of inheritors from various races were still talking about how the Thunder Beast God had descended and bestowed a treasure upon Blade River King. Many inheritors were guessing what treasure Blade River King had obtained. Within Luo Feng's residence, demon killer Luo Feng sat crossed-legged. His earth body had already entered his world ring to test out the new treasure. In the vast grassland, there was an ancient mirror with a diameter of 100 kilometers. Life imprint. Luo Feng stood before the mirror and pointed. A thread of God energy flew out and entered the mirror. The life imprint, soul imprint, within the God energy naturally imprinted itself on the treasure. So the mirror swiftly shrunk from a 100 kilometers diameter sky-covering object to the size of a palm and landed in Luo Feng's palm. Simultaneously, almost like a flood, information swiftly gushed into Luo Feng's memories, stopping after a while. So it's called the Gold Extreme Light Mirror. Luo Feng revealed a look of glee as he looked at the mirror. It's actually not a treasure, just a top-level treasure. Even though it's just a top-level treasure, it's much more valuable than normal treasures. It's definitely a treasure that would make even the universe knights go crazy. The moment Luo Feng learned of this treasure's information, he immediately understood. The ancestor god sect had definitely given him a treasure that was most suitable for him. Treasure classifications. They could be categorized as offensive weapons, spirit weapons, defensive armor, escape-type treasures, like wings, boots, ribbons etc., sealing type, entrapment type, origin type, flying palace type, spirit type, domain type. To recover the god body, it was the origin energy treasures. In terms of life preservation, the flying palace and soul treasures were the two strongest. One had almost 100% defense against physical attacks, the other had almost 100% defense against soul attack. Like the Sky Wolf Palace and Star Tower, they were both considered flying palaces. There was another type that wasn't any weaker than the flying palace and soul treasures, and that was the domain treasures. For example, the Thousand Treasure River and the Five-Colored Aurora Lake were both domain-type supreme treasures. Once they were used, the area they covered would be under their control, and the Five-Colored Aurora Lake would also be under their control. Within this area, if one faced someone of similar strength, one could easily suppress the opponent. Against an extremely strong opponent, one could restrict the opponent's movements and allow one to easily escape. Against the weak, one could rely on the 1,000 Treasure River and Five-Colored Lake to easily kill the opponent. Domain treasures. Even though it was a support, it was extremely useful. Top-grade domain treasures. Luo Feng looked at the palm-sized mirror and was extremely surprised. The ancestor god sect's methods are truly extraordinary. With this, against absolute warriors, whether I fight or flee, everything will be within my control. Golden Extreme Light Mirror. Luo Feng laughed and opened his mouth. The golden line extreme light mirror quickly shrunk into a small golden dot and flew into his mouth. Then, it entered Luo Feng's chest area and left a golden mark. Activate. Luo Feng's god energy surged into the mirror. Rumble. Immediately beams of golden light with Luo Feng as the center spread in all directions, immediately enveloping the 100 million kilometers area around him. Within this 100 million kilometers huge sphere area, there were countless golden auroras. The golden auroras were swimming around like fish. Luo Feng was at the center of this domain. This is my domain. Luo Feng surveyed his surroundings, revealing a look of glee. Suppress. Luo Feng's thoughts move. Immediately, countless golden threads gathered on the ground. It could probably instantly annihilate an undying emperor. God energy ignition. Luo Feng's eyes immediately glowed with flames. His entire body ignited and his energy level rose by 1,000 times. With such a level of energy activating the golden extreme light mirror, it immediately caused the countless golden lines to thicken by a size. Before, they were like threads, but now they were like golden blade. Origin domain. A thought flashed through Luo Feng's mind and he immediately activated it. Rumble, countless golden lights emanated out. The origin domain and the golden extreme light mirror domain immediately clashed. Ha ha ha, the ancestor god sect is really considerate of me. Knowing that I've comprehended the gold laws to become undying, they gave me this treasure too. Luo Feng was surprised to find that after the gold law domain clashed with the golden extreme light domain, it actually caused the power of the golden lights to rise greatly. What a strong power! Luo Feng felt that under the state of his god energy ignition, he could probably kill a normal universe knight. With this treasure, Even if I encounter a super expert and want to escape, I can first restrain the opponent and slow them down before I can escape. I want to fight. I'll let the ocean clone get close and self-destruct. The enemy will be trapped within the golden extreme light domain and will be heavily restricted. They probably won't be able to escape. Luo Feng was extremely excited. This golden extreme light mirror was even rarer than normal treasures. Also, to a lone warrior, he didn't need a lot of treasures, he just needed to find a suitable match. Obviously, this golden extreme light mirror would allow Luo Feng's strength to rise another level. This made him exclaim at how considerate the Ancestor God sect was. Ancestor God sect, I'm a member of the human race. However, I'll remember your kindness in giving me this treasure. Luo Feng thought. After Luo Feng had acquired the mirror, he had been studying it every day, combining it with the other treasures he had on him, thinking about how to fight in a blood battle, group attack, escape and many other ways to fight. Pung, pung, pung. The door of Luo Feng's mansion on Purple Thorn Island was being knocked loudly. Blade River, quickly open the door. Blade River. An anxious shout resounded from outside. Black-clothed Luo Feng smiled and waved his hand. His god energy surged and opened the door, simultaneously saying, "Come in." Without Luo Feng's permission, even friends wouldn't dare barge in under the restrictions of the five-colored extreme light lake. Outside, Emperor Chimen, Li Shuo and Chang Rain swiftly rushed in. "What's going on? Why so anxious?" Black-clothed Luo Feng smiled. "All these years, I've never seen you all like this." Even though it was a Masha clansman, theoretically speaking, its energy should be different from the earth body. However, the Masha clansman used its natural ability to copy the earth body's energy. Hence, Emperor Chimen and the others didn't even notice. Luo Feng. Emperor Chimen said, "Something big has happened." "Big trouble?" Li Shuo said anxiously. "Blade River, you're really in big trouble this time." Chang Rain said anxiously too. Black-clothed Luo Feng frowned as he heard, "What's going on? Don't rush, speak slowly." "You didn't go to Glory World?" Emperor Chimen said anxiously. "You still don't know about the news." "What news?" Luo Feng frowned. "These few days, I've been in my mansion and haven't gone out at all. I haven't gone to Glory World either." These few days, he had been completely studying his newly acquired gold line extreme light mirror. He was filled with glee. Right now, Luo Feng was just waiting for the human race's highest level meeting. Why would he go to Glory World? What's more, if he went there, he would be discussed by many other inheritors. "Speak quickly, what's the matter?" Luo Feng urged. You just. Emperor Li Shuo and Emperor Chimen spoke almost simultaneously. Luo Feng couldn't help but say, "Emperor Li Shuo, you speak. P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. Not finished yet. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation." Chapter 1044. Li Shuo Emperor nodded and emphasized, "Luo Feng, the Bark Mirror Emperor you just killed, he's revived." "How do you know he revived?" "He's died once, hence he doesn't have an inheritance tag anymore." Luo Feng smiled. "However, he's an undying special life form. The Northern Border Alliance gave him a treasure back then. It's obvious how important he is. His revival through time and space was completely within my expectations. If the trouble you were talking about was this." "No." Li Shuo Emperor shook his head. Chang Rain Emperor and Chimen Emperor's expressions were solemn too. "It's like this." King Li Shuo said solemnly. After Bark Mirror King was resurrected, he went to the core of the Northern Frontier Alliance and conversed with some of the other heirs of the Northern Frontier Alliance. When they asked him about his death, he tried to explain himself and said a few things, but his words caused you great trouble. "A few words?" Luo Feng frowned. Li Shuo Emperor, Chang Rain Emperor and Chimen Emperor nodded simultaneously. "What words?" Luo Feng urged. Bark Mirror Emperor said. Li Shua Emperor's voice was trembling. The reason he lost so badly to you was because his natural ability attacks couldn't even affect you. His natural ability was a soul attack. Its power was extremely strong, even many knights feared it. In theory, even if he couldn't kill you, it should still affect you. Luo Feng frowned. Yes, he had the pagoda pearl protecting his soul, and his willpower was strong. And he also said back then when he chased after you in 9 Hellspace, he immediately used his natural ability attack. You were still a sector lord back then, and you could withstand that attack. Back then, the other inheritors who were discussing with Bark Mirror Emperor immediately deduced that you had a soul treasure. Regarding this, Bark Mirror Emperor admitted it too. Li Shua Emperor emphasized, a soul treasure. Chang Rain Emperor couldn't help but say, material attacks usually only destroy a part of the god body. And soul attacks, as long as you're hit even a little, you're finished. It's extremely terrifying. Even though soul treasures, flying palaces and domains are considered the pinnacle. But in terms of life preservation, a soul-type treasure is probably number 1. This soul-type treasure is more coveted by experts than 10 or even 100 ordinary treasures. Many overlords of the universe don't even have a soul-type treasure. Luo Feng's expression changed. He actually made it public. Back then, he had survived the pursuit of Bark Mirror Monarch because he was afraid that Bark Mirror Monarch would reveal the secret of the soul-type treasure. He did not expect that it would finally be revealed today. Not just that, King Li Shua said solemnly. What else? Asked Luo Feng. Bark Mirror Emperor even said that the spirit weapon you used to attack him was a treasure. No one doubted this. After all, they had already guessed it just by watching the video. Bark Mirror Monarch also said that you have a pair of supreme treasure wings, and you killed him, obtained his supreme treasure armor, and obtained a set of supreme treasures. And you, Luo Feng, have discovered treasures in the treasure trove land. That's one of the top 108 treasures, and you just received the Thunder Beast God's gift. Li Shua looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. What does he mean? He also said. Li Shua Emperor said, after he was killed, a universe tyrant of the Northern Border Alliance was prepared to retrieve the armor. However, Luo Feng stole the armor and used a flying palace to escape. What? Luo Feng stared. Flying palace? Treasure? Back when you killed Bark Mirror Emperor, Pei Feng Knight rushed over, after which, a few absolute warriors asked. Pei Feng Knight only said he was blocked by Jiu Feng Knight and was injured, but he didn't elaborate. Li Shua Emperor said, and back then, Pei Feng Knight and Jiu Feng Knight left one after the other through the teleportation pathway. There was a difference of moments. Such a long time, in theory, it was more than enough for Pei Feng Knight to deal with you. You have a flying palace treasure, even though it's not confirmed, it's about 60 to 70% believable. Li Shua Emperor stared at Luo Feng. Anyway, you had 3 treasures before, 2 from the ancestral god sect, Bark Mirror Emperor's treasure. You, Luo Feng, have already confirmed that you have at least 6 treasures. And of these 6, 1 is a soul-type treasure. And another could be a flying palace treasure. Soul-type, flying palace, domain type, all of these are enough to make the universe tyrants go crazy. Li Shua Emperor emphasized. Every one of them is comparable to normal treasures, 10 to 100 of them. You alone have a soul type and a flying palace. Now that the news has spread, through over 100 million inheritors, the trillions of races in the universe probably know about it. Just how many absolute beings will have their eyes on you? The universe lords might not care, but the universe tyrants, any one of them can prepare a trap for you. Luo Feng's expression was ashen as he heard. Bark Mirror Emperor. Vicious. He indeed had a soul-type treasure. And the Flying Palace treasure was completely made up by Bark Mirror Emperor. The ancient Silver River and the Gold Line Aurora Mirror, Even though they were flying palace and domain-type treasures, they were still absolute treasures. Even the absolute treasures were much rarer than the normal treasures. One could see, if it was a true flying palace treasure or domain treasure, it would make the warriors go crazy. Blade River Emperor has 6 treasures, of which 2 are soul-type treasures, the other is a flying palace treasure. And you only have a middle-level knight, at most an upper-level knight. Emperor Chiman exclaimed, "Luo Feng, you're in deep trouble this time." Emperor Chiman, Thousand Reign Emperor and Li Shuo Emperor left very quickly. As they left, they gave Luo Feng a video. It was a recording of Bark Mirror Emperor and the other warriors of the Northern Border Alliance. Looking at the video, Bark Mirror Emperor exclaimed, even saying, "My origin law comprehension is low, my attacks were never good enough. Against a universe venerable, I have to rely on my innate secret technique attacks. He has a soul-type treasure that can resist my innate secret technique attacks, so what can I do to him? I can only be killed by him." "You said, he has a flying palace?" "I was already killed back then, how would I know? It was only after I chatted with the universe tyrant that came to save me that I found out some information." Looking at Bark Mirror Emperor in the video, Luo Feng's expression grew colder. "Very good, Bark Mirror Emperor. You're very good," Luo Feng muttered softly. Following closely, Luo Feng made a trip to the Plaza of Glory World. In the Plaza of Glory World, almost the moment Luo Feng entered, he received the attention of over 100 million inheritors. All sorts of discussions were going on. After all, they were already completely sure that Luo Feng had at least 6 treasures, and also completely sure that he had a soul-type treasure, and also had a higher chance of having a flying palace treasure. These 3 pieces of news were enough to make the inheritors all green with envy and jealousy. After all, these undying inheritors hadn't even touched the treasures before. Even the universe lords were green with envy. Because even amongst the universe lords, only very few had one treasure. It wasn't just the warriors from the other powers, even the warriors from the Great Alliance. Luo Feng could feel the estrangement between him and them, obviously due to their jealousy and greed. Their relationship with Luo Feng had changed slightly. Indeed, Luo Feng walked around once and left Glory World. The news has already spread. Over 100 million inheritors already know. The various superpowers and trillions of races in the universe will soon know too. Luo Feng's expression was cold. "Bark Mirror Emperor, is this your revenge?" Within the core universe secret region of the Northern Border Alliance, on a floating star fragment, there was a chain of palaces constructed, with over 10,000 servants within. "Ha ha, right, this is revenge. This is my revenge. Blade River. Human Blade River." Bark Mirror Emperor was in his own training room, his eyes filled with madness, his expression distorted. "Right, it's hard for me to personally kill you. If I just relied on myself, who knows how long I'd have to wait. However, who asked you to have so many treasures? I don't even need to personally make a move. There will naturally be some universe lords tempted to deal with you." You're dead, you're dead." Bark Mirror Emperor let out a maniacal laugh. This time, after he was revived by the time-space reversal, the Northern Border Alliance gave him many treasures to protect himself. However, they couldn't possibly give him another treasure, and when he requested for the Beast God Inheritance Token, he was rejected. Back then, the upper echelon of the Northern Border Alliance said coldly, "Bark Mirror Emperor, it's useless for you to go now. You can't receive the Beast God Inheritance Token. Just wait, when you step into the Universe Knight level, our Northern Border Alliance will naturally give you a Beast God Inheritance Token. If you haven't stepped into the Universe Knight level, don't even think about it." Bark Mirror Emperor left fiercely. As he left, the upper echelon said, "Only knowing how to take, not contributing to the Alliance, a fool." And this infuriated Bark Mirror Emperor, causing him to explode. However, in the end, the difference in strength between him and the opponent was too huge. Naturally he was asking for it. This also caused the already raging Bark Mirror Emperor to explode, his hatred and resentment all focused on Luo Feng. It's all your fault. If you didn't have a soul-type treasure, back then you would have been killed by me in the 9 hellspace, the treasure would have fallen into my hands. I'm still a powerful unique life form, how would I end up like this? The raging Bark Mirror Emperor quickly thought of a way to take revenge, since the chances of him killing Blade River Emperor was very low. Then let the countless absolute warriors of the universe deal with Blade River Emperor. Within the palace in Circe's Island. After Tru Yen Venerable learned of this shocking news, he immediately came to find Luo Feng. Luo Feng, Luo Feng. Tru Yen Venerable immediately entered the hall. Within, Luo Feng sat there, leisurely holding a teacup, drinking tea. Do you know you're in deep trouble? Still drinking tea? Tru Yen Venerable was anxious. What trouble? Luo Feng was very calm, smiling as he sipped his tea. Isn't it just because I have many treasures? You know that too? Tru Yen Venerable was shocked, after which he calmed down and sat down. I'll deal with whatever comes. Luo Feng smiled as he sipped his tea. No matter how many strong warriors come, they'll just be my grindstones. If one comes I'll kill one, if 2 come I'll kill both. Luo Feng smiled. What if you can't kill them? Tru Yen Venerable asked. I'll flee. Luo Feng laughed softly, sipping his tea and putting it down. Relax, the absolute warriors that can make me flee will get fewer and fewer. This seemingly casual sentence of the absolute warriors that can make me flee will get fewer and fewer. However, Tru Yen Venerable could feel the unparalleled determination and confidence within. He could feel. Luo Feng was already prepared to face endless battles and massacres. Be careful. Tru Yen Venerable said. Luo Feng laughed softly. The path of the strong should always rely on the blood and bones of the enemies. After which, Luo Feng creased his eyebrows, as he received a mail from the virtual universe informing him to attend the highest level meeting. The highest level meeting is being held today? Tru Yen Venerable was shocked. P.S. 2 chapters completed. Luo Feng's battle, massacre and bloody path, is about to begin. Use the blood of the strong warriors to forge Luo Feng's name and reputation. HM also requesting for monthly votes, recommendation votes, etc. If you're satisfied, please vote for tomato. Asterisk to be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1045. Luo Feng and Tru Yen exchanged glances. They had both received the mail from the virtual universe system at the same time. I've never participated in the highest level meeting before. Tru Yen was filled with anticipation. Me too. Luo Feng smiled. Let's go. The two's consciousness connected to the virtual universe. To Mount Pantheon. Luo Feng stood in his palace at the waist of Thunder Island and said softly. Mount Pantheon's Pantheon Palace was where the highest level meeting was held. The highest level meeting was held today, and the moment the virtual universe system sent out the mail, Mount Pantheon would automatically open. As for normal times, it was always closed. Clouds lingered and the mountain peaks could be seen. Many human warriors appeared one after another. Luo Feng and Tru Yen revered too appeared one after the other. Blade River. Luo Feng. Luo Feng. The moment Luo Feng appeared, he immediately attracted the passionate greetings of a few knights not too far away. 9 Flames, Lei Ming. Luo Feng too greeted the many universe knights. There were still many humans who were on good terms with him. Luo Feng, that Bark Mirror Emperor's revival in time brought you quite a bit of trouble. A winged man laughed. Soul-type treasures, flying palace treasures. Hee. I'm afraid many other race overlords are jealous and greedy. You'll have to be careful in the future. Luo Feng walked over. It's a bit troublesome, however if those other races want to kill me, they'll have to see if they're strong enough, who knows if they'll be killed by me instead. Even in such a dangerous situation, you're still so calm. No wonder your blade river. The winged man raised his wine glass. Bloodwing, don't make fun of me. Luo Feng smiled and shook his head. Even though Luo Feng had met many knights, they were merely nodding acquaintances. There were very few who had the same temperament and felt like old friends at first sight. Bloodwing Knight was one of them. Bloodwing Knight was famous for being proud and aloof, not easy to get along with. However, after Luo Feng met him, the two admired each other greatly. Speak the truth. The winged knight lowered his voice, emphasizing, that Bark Mirror Emperor's news is indeed shocking. Even I, if I were a foreign race, I wouldn't be able to resist and act against you. Luo Feng nodded. Look into the distance, the winged venerable said. Luo Feng's gaze swept. There were already over 1,000 knights gathered around. There were even more in the distance. He could faintly see a few unfamiliar knights looking at him, almost as though they were discussing something. However, Luo Feng couldn't hear them at all. It was just like how no one could hear the conversation between him and Blood-Winged Venerable. I dare to bet that many universe paragons are talking about you, the Winged Venerable said in a low voice, especially those who don't have any friendship with you. There are many who are jealous of you. Jealous? Luo Feng raised his eyebrows. The Mount Pantheon gatherings are split into two areas. One is where we are. The people gathered here are all 4, 5, and 6-star warriors. They are usually at the Universe Beginner Level Warrior, Universe Middle Level Warrior, or Universe Advanced Level Warrior. The other place is where the 7-star hegemons and hall masters gather. It is also where the Universe hegemons and Universe lords gather. Luo Feng nodded. He really didn't notice that there was a Universe overlord nearby. Of those gathered here, the strongest are at my level, Universe Advanced Level Warriors. The Winged Venerable said solemnly, amongst the Universe Advanced Level Warriors, there are very few who have a treasure. Like the Intermediate and Beginner Level Warriors, they almost never have one. Treasures, usually only the Universe Overlords have a few. And you, Luo Feng, even though you are outstanding, your strength is far from the Universe Overlords. However, the treasures you have, everyone knows that you have at least 6. And there are soul-type treasures, even the Flying Palace-type treasures, you might even have one. Even the Universe Overlords. I'm afraid very few can be that extravagant. Tell me, wouldn't the Universe Lords here be jealous of you? The Blood-Winged Venerable laughed. Even I am a little jealous. Luo Feng laughed. Of course, amongst the human race, not many would dare to make a move against you. The Blood-Winged Venerable said, however, because of jealousy, other than a few who are close to you. Those foreign universe lords would probably intentionally or unintentionally reject you. Reject me? Luo Feng said softly. They're purely unsatisfied. The Blood-Winged Venerable said. Then I'll use my strength to convince them. Luo Feng said, in the future, when I'm comparable to the universe overlords, or even stronger than them, I believe they'll only respect me, not daring to be disrespectful. Ha ha! I'm afraid you'll have to wait until you break through to the Universe Lord level. The Blood-Winged Venerable laughed. Luo Feng turned to look into the distance. At least 6 treasures. Back when Luo Feng was being chased by Bark Mirror Emperor in the 9 underworld space, he hadn't gotten the treasures yet, and he didn't get the Thunder Beast God's gift. However, he had 3 treasures on him back then, especially the Soul-type treasure. Just based on him being a Sector Lord back then, how could he have the ability to acquire it himself? It was definitely bestowed by a strong warrior. Right, the Primal Chaos City leader is too biased. How can a Soul-type treasure be bestowed to a Sector Lord just like that? Our many Universe Lords don't even have normal treasures. He even got a Soul-type treasure when he was a Sector Lord. Like the Battle Axe Coliseum, Universe First Bank, Universe Galaxy Bank, Universe Mercenary Alliance, and the other 4 great powers, the Absolute Warriors, especially those who didn't even know Luo Feng before, were even more fearless, discussing this matter with their friends. The more they discussed, the more they felt it was unfair. Based on what? Back when he was just a sector lord, how did he get 3 treasures? Especially the soul-type treasures. Within the human race, there were many universe overlords that didn't even have a soul-type treasure. Even if it was the primal Chaos City leader's own treasures, he couldn't do it like that. It was unfair. Even though they were secretly unhappy, none of them dared to directly speak to the primal Chaos City leader about this. After all, the primal Chaos City leader was the strongest on the virtual universe company's side. Who would dare provoke him? As time passed, the number of universe lords gathered on Mount Pantheon grew. The time for the highest level meeting was approaching. Luo Feng, Tru Yen Venerable walked over. Teacher. Luo Feng turned. Tru Yen Venerable soundproofed his surroundings, frowning. It seems that many of the universe lords aren't too happy with you having 3 treasures at the sector lord level. Especially when you had a soul-type treasure back then, it caused even more dissatisfaction. They felt that the primal Chaos City leader's rewards and punishments were unfair. Why not, Luo Feng, go find your teacher and speak to him about this. See how we can get rid of it. 3 treasures at the sector lord level? Unfair? Luo Feng didn't know whether to laugh or cry. The primal Chaos City leader only gave him 1 treasure, and it was the Wu Killer Wings. Star Map, Pagoda Pearl. Those were all given by mountain guests. Especially the soul-type treasure, the Pagoda Pearl. It was actually an important part of the Star Pagoda, the control core of the space. This had nothing to do with the human race at all. This matter? Luo Feng shook his head. He couldn't explain it himself. Could it be that it was given by mountain guest? I'll think of a way to deal with this. Luo Feng shook his head. Even if I can't get rid of it, it's not a big deal. I can't expect all the warriors to be on good terms with me. There are those who are jealous of me. There are those who hate me. This isn't a big deal. It's not a big deal to you, Tru Yen said. However, it will affect the primal Chaos City leader's reputation. Even if the primal Chaos City leader gave me treasures, he didn't use any of the resources of the human race. It's his own treasure. He can use it however he wants, so what if he's jealous? Luo Feng sneered. What's more, the primal Chaos City teacher has such a position. He relies on his unrivaled power. In the primal universe, the primal Chaos City leader was an invincible being. Just this alone, no matter how biased the primal Chaos City leader was, how much he spoiled his juniors, his position was still unshakable. It was just that over the years, the primal Chaos City leader had always been very fair in his dealings, hence when he was biased, many warriors were unhappy. On the contrary, some of the more violent universe lords, even if they were to mess around, no one dared to say anything. More and more warriors gathered on Mount Pantheon. Rumble, the land and skies rumbled. Luo Feng and the thousands of knights all looked up at the sky. Within the clouds, 2 glaring golden doors slowly opened. These 2 doors were filled with resplendent stars. The place where the meeting was held was the floating palace above Mount Pantheon. That was Mount Pantheon's Pantheon Palace. Warriors of humanity, gather. A majestic voice resounded throughout the land and skies. Who? All the knights on Mount Pantheon immediately vanished. They were all transported into the Pantheon Palace. Rumble, the 2 golden doors that illuminated the entire space closed. Within the Pantheon Palace, there was a huge round table with intricate carvings. Luo Feng could only see a part of the table. The rest of the table was shrouded in mist. He couldn't see it clearly. Thrones were densely packed around the round table. One couldn't see the end of the thrones. Luo Feng sat on one of the thrones. Luo Feng rubbed the armrest with both hands, turning back to look. The back of the throne had the words Blade River in human language. So many knights. Luo Feng looked around. He discovered that the large amount of knights sitting at the bottom were all low-level knights. Their thrones were the smallest, about 2 m wide. The middle-level knight's throne was 10 m wide. The high-level knight's throne was 50 m wide. Luo Feng sat on the 10 m wide one, and within his field of vision, he could only see the Universe Beginner-level Venerables, Universe Middle-level Venerables, and Universe High-level Venerables. As for the higher-ranked Universe Hegemons and Universe Lords, they were completely shrouded in mist and could not be seen at all. My divine body has also become compatible with this throne. Luo Feng rubbed the armrest, exclaiming to himself. He sat on the 10 m wide throne. Both his hands just happened to rest on the armrest. P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1046. Around the huge round table, the densely packed thrones were split into 5 levels. 2 meters wide, 10 meters wide, 50 meters wide, 200 meters wide, 1,000 meters wide, and all the experts' divine bodies were completely compatible with the throne. Among them, Tianshi Palace Master, Jifeng Sage, Undying Sage, and other overlords of the universe sat on the 200-meter-wide throne. And at the highest point on the majestic thrones, the universe lords sat at the highest point, looking down on all the other human warriors. They were the absolute beings from the 5 great human clans. Of the many towering thrones that were 1,000 meters wide, the rest were all dazzling gold. Only the 2 towering thrones in the center were black and exuded a solemn aura. One of the black thrones had a faint carving of a giant axe on it. Sitting on the throne was a giant man with thick fingers and messy long hair that looked like a savage. However, beside him, the other black throne was empty, with no one sitting. The other golden thrones all had majestic silhouettes sitting on them. Primal Chaos. This barbarian looked at the Primal Chaos City leader on his left, smiling. Your favoritism towards Luo Feng seems to have made many of the knights unhappy. It's not strange that they're unhappy. Soul-type treasures. Primal Chaos, your disciple Gui, that too has the strength of a universe overlord. He's been following you for a long time, yet he doesn't seem to have any soul-type treasures. Even he didn't get one, yet the Sector Lord Luo Feng got one back then. I'm afraid even Gui Knight wouldn't be happy about it. Not happy, my ass. A soul-piercing cold emanated. Giving them treasures is a favor. Not giving them treasures, that's natural. Want treasures? Let them fight for it themselves. Whoever Primal Chaos gives a soul-type treasure, that's for him to get. Who should get it, nobody has the right to say. From what I see, we should kill one to warn the others. The one who jumps the most should be locked up in the Primal Universe prison. That's too much, we can't stop the knights from discussing right. They didn't steal or kill, they shouldn't be locked up in the prison. The dozens of majestic thrones in the blurry mist all opened their mouths. Everyone. Only then did the Primal Chaos City leader in the Golden Throne smile. Even though I pamper this disciple, everyone knows how I do things. I definitely wouldn't give Luo Feng a spirit treasure when he's only a sector lord. The other universe masters, including the huge man on the black throne, all looked over. They also knew Primal Chaos City Master could be said to be the most selfless one, also the one with the most prestige. After all, there were very few great existences who had reached the level of the Lord of the Universe who had the patience to deal with the trifling matters of the race and make arrangements for the various matters of the race. Many universe lords simply couldn't be bothered to care. The Primal Chaos City leader was very patient. He had always been respected. When he was at the Sector Lord level, he had 3 treasures. Only the murderous Wu Feather was bestowed by me. The other 2 were obtained by my disciples' miraculous encounters and heaven-defying luck. The Primal Chaos City Lord said. Ah! He got the treasure himself? This supreme treasure isn't something that can be obtained just because you have a miraculous encounter. Usually, they are left behind intentionally by some super-existences for their successors. Who cares what absolute being he is? The fact that these treasures have landed in our human race's hands is a good thing. Ha ha, right? No matter who left them for their successors, this Luo Feng, no matter what, he's a human first. And second, he has some connection to the being who left them behind. No wonder, when I heard Primal Chaos gave Luo Feng the 3 treasures, I was suspicious. Primal Chaos isn't such a person, so that's why. On the 10 thrones, there was a lot of discussion. The other knights are all waiting, let us begin the meeting. Within the 2 black thrones, the huge savage man with the huge axe carving looked at the Primal Chaos City leader on his left, saying, "Primal Chaos, it's better if you take charge of the meeting." The Primal Chaos City leader nodded. There were thousands of god thrones. Luo Feng also conversed with the other knights, gaining some basic information. The god thrones in the pantheon were split into 5 levels. One could see the silhouettes of warriors 1 level higher than themselves. As for conversation, they could initiate conversations with people of the same level or lower. For example, Luo Feng, he could only converse with 4-star warriors, universe beginner level knights, and 5-star warriors, universe intermediate level knights. And the lowest level beginner level knights, they could only converse with other beginner level knights. Attention all! A warm and majestic voice resounded. The entire pantheon immediately went silent. Luo Feng could tell with one word. It was the Primal Chaos City leader's teacher. Every time we convene the highest level meeting, it's always because of a huge matter that affects the entire race. The Primal Chaos City leader's voice was majestic, resounding throughout the pantheon. Nobody dared disturb him. This time's highest level meeting is because the Primal Star is about to open. The Primal Star is about to open? Almost all the knights' faces were filled with shock. The Primal Star is the core of our vast universe, a place where trillions of races fight over. The opening this time is no exception. To acquire the treasures, to contribute greatly to the race, this is your chance. For the detailed information, everyone can first browse. The Primal Chaos City leader said. Seated in the densely packed thrones, a screen floated in front of them. Large amounts of detailed information appeared on the screen. Luo Feng too stared at the screen before him. The core of the entire universe was the universe source grounds. However, after countless years, other than the occasional consciousness that could descend into the universe source grounds, not a single absolute warrior could personally reach the universe source grounds. That seemed like an illusory place. However, the Primal Star was a real existence. There were a total of 10,081 Primal Stars. According to the information from the beginning of the universe, these 10,081 Primal Stars revolved around the universe source grounds. It could be said to be the closest place in the entire universe to the universe source ground. These 10081 primitive stars also nurtured countless treasures, but they were also filled with many dangers. There were a total of 10,081 pathways to the Primal Star. However, these over 10,000 pathways were usually closed, only opening after an extremely long period of time. Every time it opened, it would last for 1,000 eras. After 1,000 eras, it would close. All the warriors that entered had to come out before it closed, otherwise they would definitely die. Whether it was clones or incarnations, techniques were all useless. As long as one remained on the Primal Star when it closed, they would definitely die. There were no exceptions. This was the most mysterious place in the universe. There wasn't a single place that surpassed it. The 10081 Primal Stars, even though there were dangers everywhere, there were countless treasures too. The most important ones weren't even worth mentioning. The treasures were even more common. The trillions of races in the universe would madly engage in slaughter here, fighting for their own race's treasures. Every time it opened, it would be a terrifying slaughter. Every time it opened, there would be universe lords that died within. It was very bloody and cruel. However, it made countless warriors go crazy. This was the Primal Star, the place closest to the universe source grounds. Contribution points? Luo Feng looked at another set of information below. The treasures obtained in the primal star, if obtained alone, could be used by oneself. Even if one didn't need it, one could give it to the race in exchange for contribution points. The reason why the race was strong was because of the countless warriors' contribution points. The contribution points could be used to exchange for other treasures. In the human race, there are those who enjoy the resources and those who contribute. All normal humans, undyings, are resource seekers. Like normal humans, they can enjoy peace and stability. Like the undyings who perform well, they can receive pointers, teachings, and even treasures from the absolute warriors. They are resource seekers. The moment you step into the ranks of the strongest in the universe, you will enter the highest meeting. That means you will become the backbone of the human race. The human race requires the contributions of the true warriors. Only with your contributions will the trillions of humans, generations of geniuses, and countless undyings enjoy the resources. You will fight to the death to obtain the resources and treasures to give to the race. Everything will be recorded in contribution points. You can also use them to exchange for the resources you need. Blade River Emperor Luo Feng, when you first joined the highest meeting, you lost the large amounts of resources that came with your status as a genius. From now on, you are one of the absolute warriors of our human race. You have the strength to make huge contributions to our race. You can totally use your contribution points to exchange for the resources and treasures you need. Luo Feng looked at the two sets of information. One was information on the primal star, the other was a detailed explanation of the contribution points. Obviously only the newcomers, like Luo Feng and Tru Yen, who were joining the meeting for the first time, would be able to obtain the detailed information regarding contribution points. Contribution points? Luo Feng said softly. Yes. The entire race, if everyone wants benefits, wants the race to give them, then just who is contributing? Luo Feng understood. Just like a primal tribe, the adults hunted outside, the women planted, and the children enjoyed. And the entire race, the absolute warriors contributed, the geniuses, the weak, and the normal people enjoyed the resources. Only after stepping into the universe's strongest would they begin to contribute to the race. Very good. Luo Feng said softly. This is very good. Always taking advantage of others is boring. Primal star? Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. The universe is indeed mysterious. Before this, I didn't even know there was such a place, the 10,081 primal stars, the mysterious place closest to the universe itself. When the absolute warriors of the human race were all shocked, the primal Chaos City leader finally spoke. There's still 10 years before the primal star opens. Within these 10 years, everyone can make preparations, like forming a small team of warriors that can complement each other, or borrowing treasures from those who aren't willing to go to the primal star, etc. Everything can be prepared within these 10 years. After 10 years, our human race will enter the primal star. The primal Chaos City leader said. P.S. 2 chapters completed. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1047. In 10 years, the human race will march to the original stars. Primal Chaos City leader's voice was as calm as the vast ocean, and the Supreme Leader meeting ended. Hong, long, long. The door of the Pantheon Palace opened, and almost all the Universe Knights stood up. So soon. Luo Feng and Tru Yen Knight stood up too. The other Universe Knights were all chatting and laughing as they walked toward the golden door of the Pantheon Palace. The moment they stepped through the door, they were all teleported away. Bloody Wing Knight walked over. What are you two hesitating for? I'm just surprised by the speed of the Supreme Leader meeting, Luo Feng said with a smile. Bloody Wing Knight smiled. The first time I participated in the Supreme Leader meeting, I was also surprised by how short it was. But then I realized that a major event involving the human race only happens once in a while. Besides, more than half of the Supreme Leader meetings don't need to be discussed. Only the Universe Masters need to inform each other. Only a small number of meetings that require a vote will take a long time. Those that don't require a vote will only take a short time. After all, the high and mighty Universe Masters don't have the time to be long-winded and tell us too much. Luo Feng nodded. It was indeed efficient. Primal Chaos City Leader didn't say much. He only mentioned the original stars, and a screen appeared in front of every Universe Knight, describing the relevant information in great detail. "Let's go," Bloody Wing Knight said. "Okay." Luo Feng, True Yen Knight, and Bloody Wing Knight walked side by side and stepped through the golden door of the Pantheon Palace. "Look, it's Blade River Emperor. I heard that Blade River Emperor has at least 6 true treasures." Some Universe Knights behind him were whispering to each other. Although he was able to kill Bark Mirror Emperor, which makes him an incredible being among the Undying Fighters, he's only a medium Universe Knight. With his power, he'll become a target for the supreme beings of the other races if he goes to the original stars. That's right. He has at least 6 true treasures, including a soul-type true treasure and a flying palace-type true treasure. He'll be a walking treasure trove on the original stars. The original stars are where the supreme beings of billions of races gather. Some Universe Masters of other races will attack Blade River Emperor as soon as they see him. Universe Overlords and Universe Masters of other races will attack him as soon as they see him. What are you thinking? Every time the original star opens, most of the weaker Universe Knights will not go. Blade River Emperor is not stupid. As long as he does not go, what can the other races do to him? Amidst the discussion, they also stepped into the golden door and disappeared. Halfway up Thunder Island, in the pavilion outside Luo Feng's palace, Luo Feng, Bloody Wing Knight, and True Yen Knight were sitting together, drinking and talking about the original star. To be exact, it was Bloody Wing Knight who was talking about the original star. Luo Feng and True Yen Knight were listening attentively. There are 10,081 original stars, and every one of them is a treasure star, but they are also a gathering place for the various superpowers in the universe. Venerable Bloodwing sighed and shook his head. The competition for some of the treasures and some of the ordinary treasures isn't that intense. Like Flying Palace-type true treasures, Domain-type true treasures, Soul-type true treasures, and even some senior true treasures and top-tier true treasures. The more precious a true treasure was, the greater the commotion it would cause. Universe Masters of various races would fight over it. Throughout history, every time the original star opened, Universe Masters would be annihilated. Luo Feng couldn't help but say, many Universe Masters have techniques to protect themselves, such as split bodies. For example, those who do not have a talent for creating clones would not go to the original star. Wrong. That's where you are wrong. Bloody Wing Knight shook his head. There are very few Universe Masters, and as long as there's one Universe Master in charge, there's no need to worry. If there is only one Universe Master, then a race can be considered a powerful race. Even if the human race is a pinnacle race, the number of Universe Masters is extremely small. Those who can become Universe Masters are very few cowards, said Luo Feng. Although they are cautious, the opening of the original star is an opportunity for them to obtain top-tier true treasures. Many of them will give it their all. If they can obtain top-tier true treasures or pinnacle true treasures, they can rely on true treasures to dominate the universe. They are almost invincible. Luo Feng nodded. True treasures were very useful. Thousand Treasure River allowed Primal Chaos City Leader's body to be extremely powerful. Even Sky Wolf Master, who relied on Sky Wolf Palace, had to avoid it. Purple Knight was one of the 72 deified generals, and he inherited the position of deified general. He was much more powerful than candidate deified generals like Pei Feng Knight and Jiu Feng Knight. He truly had the power of a universe master. However, Sky Wolf Master, who had Sky Wolf Palace, could easily suppress Purple Night. I experienced the opening of the original star once. That time I almost died, Yifutian said. Just as Bloody Wing Knight was talking about the opening of the original star, a being flew toward him from afar. Luo Feng. A voice was heard. Luo Feng turned around. Nine-Blade Knight. Luo Feng was a bit dazed. After becoming undying, many Universe Knights had come to congratulate him, but Nine-Blade Knight had never come. Luo Feng guessed. After all, if he had developed normally, he would have been Nine-Blade Knight's subordinate. That was why Nine-Blade Knight was so proud that he didn't want to come. Nine-Blade Knight. Luo Feng smiled and greeted him. Luo Feng. Reverend Nine Sword smiled and looked at Reverend True Yen and Reverend Bloodwing. True Yen and Bloodwing are here as well. Ah. Nine-Blade, are you here to borrow a true treasure? Bloody Wing Knight asked. Nine-Blade Knight's expression froze. He had indeed come to borrow a true treasure. After all, among the human race in the universe, those who owned true treasures were usually senior Universe Knights or Universe Overlords, and those supreme beings usually went to the original star. Those who owned true treasures but didn't go to the original star were few and far between. And Luo Feng, who owned at least 6 true treasures, probably wouldn't go. I don't have a grudge against Luo Feng, said Nine-Blade Knight. If I bow slightly, I'll become friends with Luo Feng. And this time, when the original star opens, if I have a true treasure to protect me, the chances of getting a true treasure will be much higher. I just need to bow slightly. Nine-Blade Knight clenched his teeth and walked over. After all, power was the most important thing on the path of a great being. Other great beings would only respect you if you were strong enough. Luo Feng, I am indeed here to borrow a true treasure from you, said Nine-Blade Knight. I am adept at close combat, so I would like to borrow that true treasure armor. He knew his limits, so he did not dare to borrow a soul-type true treasure. Borrow a true treasure? Luo Feng was dazed. It's a bit reckless of me to come here and borrow a true treasure. Nine-Blade Knight smiled. When I come out of the original star, I'll return the true treasure armor immediately and give you 10 true treasures as a reward. You can ask the virtual universe system to be the witness and sign a loan contract. Unless I betray my race, I won't dare to not return it. Luo Feng hesitated. Wouldn't it be too disrespectful to reject him? Nine-Blade Knight, said Luo Feng. I'm sorry about that. Nine-Blade Knight realized that he had failed to borrow a true treasure. Luo Feng, the original star will be open for 1,000 eras, said Nine-Blade Knight. I can come out at any time during the process. Once I get a true treasure, I'll come out immediately. That's why I'll only spend a few hundred to 1,000 years on the original star. It's not that I don't want to, said Luo Feng. It's that I plan to go to the original star myself. Nine-Blade Knight was speechless. Since Luo Feng planned to go to the original star himself, the stronger he was, the better. Haha. Nine-Blade, I actually planned to borrow a true treasure from Luo Feng, but I didn't expect you to come first. Bloody Wing Knight laughed. Now that I know Luo Feng plans to go to the original star, I don't need to embarrass myself. Haha. I have to thank you, Nine-Blade. Nine-Blade Knight laughed. He was grateful to Bloody Wing Knight. Bloody Wing Knight's words had helped him resolve the awkwardness. Nine-Blade Knight left quickly, but after a short while, another great being arrived to borrow a true treasure. Second brother. Luo Feng went to welcome him. A bald man in a red robe flew over. It was Gui Knight, who served Primal Chaos City leader all year round. Luo Feng, you should have guessed why I'm here. Gui Knight stepped on the ground barefooted and smiled at Luo Feng. I'm here to borrow that soul-type true treasure from you. I guessed that you wouldn't go to the original star this time, so I came. When I get out of the original star, I'll return the soul-type true treasure and give you 3 ordinary true treasures as a reward. 3 true treasures as a reward? Luo Feng was shocked. Many universe overlords only had a few true treasures with them. Pei Feng Knight, for example, only had 4. Gui Yi Knight served Primal Chaos City leader all year round, so he might have more true treasures. However, to give him 3 true treasures as a reward was definitely generous. Second brother, said Luo Feng, this does interest me, but I also plan to go to the original star. Luo Feng, said Gui Yi Knight, shocked. You're going too? Yes. Luo Feng nodded. Brother Luo Feng, don't you know how dangerous that place is? Ordinary universe knights aren't confident of getting true treasures. Even for a universe overlord, if he doesn't have enough true treasures to protect himself, it would be difficult for him to get 3 true treasures. Luo Feng understood. Gui Yi Knight was obviously telling Luo Feng that even universe overlords couldn't get 3 ordinary true treasures. Now, as long as he lent him a soul-type true treasure, he would get 3 true treasures as a reward. It was worth it. Luo Feng felt helpless. Second brother, you don't know that my soul-type true treasure is Tower Pearl, and it's owned by Star Tower. If universe knights merge it with their souls, they'll definitely die. I still plan to go in and see for myself, said Luo Feng. Oh. Gui Yi Knight nodded and smiled. Then I'll leave first. It seems that I need to think of other ways to borrow true treasures. P.S. End of Chapter 1. To be continued. If you like this work, you're welcome to vote for me at Chidian.com. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1048. Luo Feng watched as Gui Yi left, feeling a little regretful within. He didn't agree this time. On the surface his second senior brother looked the same, however deep down he was definitely upset. It's a pity that my soul treasure Pagoda Pearl is an item that the Star Pagoda recognizes as its owner. Universe Knights, whoever fuses with it will die. Luo Feng thought, if it was a normal soul treasure, lending it to Gui Yi isn't much. Anyway, the primal star opens for a total of 1,000 eras. I can wait a few hundred eras, wait for Gui Yi to return from exploring the primal star, and return my treasure, then I'll go again. And after a few hundred eras, my strength will definitely be much stronger. Who knows, I might have already stepped into the Universe Knight level. Luo Feng. Blood-Winged Knight walked over. From what I see, you should lend it to Gui Yi. His status isn't normal, it's rare for him to ask. Ha, no need to say more. Luo Feng laughed and shook his head. It wasn't that he didn't want to lend it. It was that he couldn't. Up to you. Blood-Winged Knight laughed too. You're ambitious enough. I guess I want to explore it, Luo Feng said. As for the mysterious primal star, Luo Feng indeed wanted to explore it. However, he was clear, his own strength wasn't enough. As time passed, Universe Knights came to borrow treasures from Luo Feng one after another. Obviously most of them thought Luo Feng wouldn't go to Primal Star. But each and every one of them had been rebuffed. These people that came to borrow treasures from Luo Feng, some were friends of Luo Feng, some were close. There were also some he didn't recognize. As the earliest batch of knights were rejected by Luo Feng, the news quickly spread. Almost all the knights knew that Blade River Emperor Luo Feng wanted to head to the Primal Star too. Wanting to borrow treasures from him, that was impossible. Luo Feng is going to Primal Star too? He's just an undying, even though he's powerful. He only has the strength of a middle-level knight. However, he has so many treasures on him. On Primal Star, he's basically a moving treasure trove. Any super experts of the foreign races would attack him if they encountered him. Isn't he looking to die? If he's looking to die, why do you care? With his strength, going to Primal Star, he's purely looking to die. Let's see what happens to him on the Primitive Star. It doesn't matter if he dies. But if he dies, and the treasure falls into the outsider's hands, then we'll have to deal with him. That would be the loss of our entire race. That is a sinner. Don't worry, he won't die that easily. The Primal Chaos City leader values him so much, he will definitely help him. Who knows, maybe he will arrange for 2 universe overlords to form a team with him. Those that didn't like Luo Feng and were jealous of him were indeed a group of universe knights. These knights had been working hard and risking their lives to get treasures for their races to earn contribution points and exchange for the treasures and resources they needed. However, Luo Feng was able to obtain a soul treasure at Sector Lord level. Naturally, many of the knights were angry, unhappy, and even hostile towards him. Let's watch and see how Luo Feng ends up on the Primal Star. Many of the knights were waiting to see Luo Feng make a fool of himself. What a joke! What kind of place was the Primitive Star? Universe Lords and Universe Hegemons could do as they pleased. High-level Universe Paragons were the most common, even Universe Paragons would usually form a few teams. No small team's battle strength could be underestimated. How could Luo Feng, a mere undying, create a miracle? Even if he was the most powerful special life form, even if he had the most powerful special techniques and treasures. However, the undying level, he was destined to be unable to create a miracle on the Primitive Star. Virtual Universe, Thunder Island Mountain Waste. Luo Feng and Tru Yen, the teacher and disciple, were gathered together. Then I won't be going to the Primitive Star. My strength is far from enough. Tru Yan's eyes were filled with unwillingness. I really want to go, but I know my own limits. Luo Feng, you are my disciple, I'll speak to you. Even though your strength is not bad, you don't have to rush to the Primitive Star, and because of this, you've created a rift with the 2 universe overlords. Luo Feng could only laugh. Right. There were 2 universe overlords who wanted to borrow treasures from him. One was Gue Yi and the other was White Phoenix. The 2 were here to borrow spirit treasures. However, he had no way to borrow them, nor could he say anything. Indeed, my disciple, your temper is the same as mine. Tru Yen smiled and shook his head. However, you have to be careful when you enter the Primitive Star. Make ample preparations. From the information we've gathered, that place is simply too dangerous. Luo Feng nodded. The fall of the universe's upper echelons was a common sight. It could be seen frequently. The fall of the universe's overlords were many too. Even the lords of the universe had fallen. Teacher, I've made preparations, Luo Feng said. Even if you don't borrow the treasures, you've still made the human race's circle laugh at you. Tru Yen said. Even your friends don't believe you can create a miracle. However, I'm your teacher. I've watched you grow, I believe you. Luo Feng grinned. Remember, don't let those punks laugh at you. Tru Yen said. Luo Feng nodded. After a while, Luo Feng watched as Tru Yen left. I'm afraid other than teacher who believes in me, not many will believe I can create a miracle. Luo Feng said softly. Even I don't have much confidence. With my current strength, if I meet a universe overlord, I'll still have to avoid them. To snatch food from the tiger's mouth and treasures in the Primitive Star is too difficult. Calamity armor, don't disappoint me. Luo Feng thought. Luo Feng was clear of his own strength. This bit of strength allowed him to roam the universe. He could go anywhere. However, the trillions of races on the Primitive Star gathered with absolute warriors. What they relied on was a true bloodbath. Amongst the universe lords, universe overlords and some of the upper echelons teams, he was indeed at the bottom. He could only rely on the Calamity armor. The universe's strongest warrior, Mountain Traveler, left 2 treasures for his second disciple. One was the Flame God Halberd and the other was the Soul. For his third disciple, Luo Feng too left 2 treasures. One was the Star Pagoda and the other was the Calamity armor. During the creation of the Star Pagoda, due to some unexpected circumstances, its power grew explosively, reaching the ultimate treasure level. And the Calamity armor, the Flame God Halberd and the Soul, they were all on the same level. Every one of them was extremely valuable in the universe. Mountain Traveler had paid a huge price for them. Even compared to the primal Chaos City leaders Qianbaohe, they weren't any weaker. And the Calamity armor was specially made by Mountain Traveler for his third disciple. And according to his plans, it was most suitable for Luo Feng to use. Like the Star Pagoda and the Killer Wu Wings, they are all normal treasures. Luo Feng thought. The Universe Lords don't even care about them, they're useless to them. And the Calamity armor, even though it's weaker than the Star Pagoda is after all still an ultimate treasure of the universe. This Calamity armor is definitely an absolute treasure, or even the pinnacle of treasures. It's much stronger than the Killer Wu Wings and the others. The Calamity armor's power is definitely extraordinary. The Flame God race was a race that lived far away from the human territories in a desolate place. They occupied a huge universe secret region. On a desolate planet, a jade-green light emanated. A malevolent undying and a golden-armored youth appeared on this desolate planet. Not bad. The golden-armored youth smiled at the undying. That malevolent undying immediately bowed respectfully. With the many other races under me, I've left many tokens and locations in the universe. This is the closest place to the Flame God race. Luo Feng said softly. Simultaneously, he waved his hand and kept the undying in his world ring. From here to the Flame God race, it's still very far. Luckily I have the ancient ship Milky Way. Luo Feng flipped his hand and a date seed-sized ancient ship appeared. Expand, expand, expand. Luo Feng waved his hand. The ancient ship immediately tore through space and flew away. Simultaneously, Luo Feng's God energy was infused within. With the activation of the God energy, the ancient ship swiftly grew in space, quickly becoming the size of the planet Luo Feng was on. Haha! Luo Feng took a step and entered the ship. Standing on the deck, looking at the endless space, the flying palace type of absolute treasure, it's much stronger than a universe ship. Luo Feng controlled his God energy and shrunk the ship to a 1,000 m long ship. After all, maintaining the ship's size consumed a lot of God energy. Let's go. Luo Feng's thoughts moved. So, the ship swiftly accelerated. With a swish, it left behind a silver beam of light in space, following which it reached the limit of light speed. It immediately vanished and entered the dark universe. In the dark universe, the speed of the ancient ship Milky Way continued to rise madly. 10 times light speed, 20 times light speed, 30 times light speed, 100 times light speed, 200 times light speed, 300 times light speed. Haha, this is awesome, awesome. Standing before the railing and leaning on it, the entire ship Milky Way's ram formed a shield, protecting the entire ship within. It's much faster than those life ships and mechanical ships. Luo Feng constantly activated the ship's speed. Finally, it stopped when it reached 800 times light speed. This was Luo Feng's limit, not Milky Way's. If Luo Feng burned his God energy, he could activate it even faster. If Luo Feng's law comprehension was higher, he could activate it even faster. Enough, I estimate I'll be able to reach the Flame God secret region after 2 months of flying in the dark universe. Luo Feng thought. The Flame God clan lived in a huge universe secret region, as this region was ruled by the Flame God clan, hence this region was often called the Flame God secret region by the universe warriors. Sitting in the ancient ship Milky Way, Luo Feng roamed the dark universe. After close to 3 months, the ship finally slowed down and left the dark universe. In the vast space, on an ancient ship, Luo Feng stood on the deck of Milky Way, leaning on the railing and gazing. I've arrived, the Flame God secret region. P.S. Update complete. This undying chapter has ended. I'll start a new one tomorrow. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1049. Back then, the Flame Emperor brought the Flame God clan under him and left the human race, searching for an extremely distant and desolate universe secret region to live and reproduce. Countless years passed. The Flame God clan grew even stronger. Along with the Flame Emperor's invincible strength in the universe, nobody dared to mess with him. Even though the distance between the Flame God clan and the human territory was extremely far, the Flame God clan would still frequently enter the foreign battlefields and join other factions to battle against the humans. The armors and general armor pieces I obtained back then, they were all found in the trash from the battles. Luo Feng stood on the deck of the ancient Milky Way ship and gazed into the endless universe space. The Flame God clan has already left the human race, yet they're still working with the Bug clan, Demon clan or Automaton clan, continuing to battle against the humans. Looks like they have a huge grudge against the humans. In theory, the Flame God clan was originally part of the human race. Even if they left, there was no need to continue fighting. However, whether it was the information Luo Feng found in the virtual universe, or the armors and general armor pieces from the trash from the battles, it all showed that the Flame God clan and the human race were enemies. The Flame Emperor is a universe lord nurtured by Teacher. With the Flame God halberd and the soul energy, these two powerful treasures, he's definitely much stronger than the Sky Wolf leader. However, even if he dares to leave the human race, he probably wouldn't dare go against Teacher Mountain Passenger. Luo Feng thought. So, Luo Feng waved his hand and the ancient Milky Way ship swiftly shrunk to the size of a date seed and landed in his palm. I'll go visit my second senior. Luo Feng teleported in the universe space and headed towards the base of the Flame God clan. The Flame God clan lived on 3 vast continents. These 3 continents, the smallest one had a diameter of more than 1 light year, and the largest one had a diameter of about 3 light years. The 3 continents revolved around each other, and in the middle of the void where the 3 continents revolved, there was a group of majestic floating palaces. The palaces were surrounded by endless flames, black, purple, white, green, blue, all sorts of flames revolved. Undying warriors walked through the corridors and plazas, occasionally looking at the highest palace in the center, their eyes filled with respect. The Flame God warriors were all tall and sturdy. The shortest were 8 m tall, the tallest were 10 m, their skin was covered in scales, and there was even a curved horn on their forehead. Their hands and feet were similar to those of earthlings, but they were thicker and had a layer of scales on the back of their hand. A tyrannical aura spread out. In the highest palace of the Void Palace complex, surrounded by the 3 continents of the Flame God race, a majestic silhouette sat on the throne. This silhouette was close to 10,000 kilometers tall. The energy he breathed out from his nostrils caused the surrounding space to burn. That black horn pierced the sky. His body was covered in dense black scales. His fingers gently tapped on the armrest. His eyes seemed to pierce through space, looking at Luo Feng's silhouette flying over from the endless distance. His aura is quite strong. A guest has come to our Flame God race's secret realm. The towering figure said softly. He was the Lord of the Universe. Most universe supremacies could only sense spatial fluctuations from extremely far away, but the Lord of the Universe, who had complete control over spacetime, could sense all spatial fluctuations within 10 million light-years. In fact, as long as he willed it, time and space were like his antennae, constantly extending outwards to investigate. Let's see who this guest is. The towering figure stared into the distance. He followed the flow of time and space, breaking through layers of spatial obstructions. In the distant void, a black-haired youth was rapidly approaching. Rumble! The aura of the towering figure on the throne shook violently, causing the surrounding space to tremble. Third Junior. The towering figure said softly, knowing that you've entered Undying, I guessed you would come. You've finally come. True Yen as your teacher, Primal Chaos City Leader as your teacher, Third Junior, why are you so deeply involved with the human race? The towering figure said softly, "Have you forgotten, your home planet Earth was taken by the human race? Don't you know that they treat you well so that you can fight to the death for them? I'm really sorry. I won't let an absolute treasure like the Calamity armor be used by the human race." The towering figure laughed softly. "Without Teacher Mountain Passenger's orders, you'll never have any hope of obtaining the armor." Teacher Mountain Passenger. Flame Emperor's eyes flashed with fear. The higher he stood, the more he felt how terrifying Mountain Passenger was. Mountain Guest had given him the Origin Soul, the Flame God Halberd, and the Tribulation Armor, leaving the Tribulation Armor with him for the time being. Logically speaking, after becoming the Master of the Universe, with 3 supreme treasures on him, he should have nothing to worry about. He wasn't afraid of Primal Chaos City Leader, Lord Mungtua, etc. Although the peak existences among the Masters of the Universe could suppress him, they couldn't kill him. Only the strongest experts of the universe, those who had reached the ranks of the strongest in the universe, were actually extremely powerful, and their words were laws. They could easily change the laws and completely control a part of the area. However, due to the restrictions of the universe's laws, their power was only slightly stronger than the Master of Primal Chaos, Lord Mungtua, etc. That creator of the Greytax, because of the human race, doesn't dare to provoke me. However, Teacher Mountain Passenger has many tricks up his sleeves, and he's famous for being hard to deal with. Those who provoke him have all suffered great losses." Flame Emperor squinted his eyes, a cold light flashing in them. "Plus, he's a loner with no worries. He knows almost all of my trump cards. Once he attacks me, Flame Emperor, in the entire universe, he was only afraid of Mountain Passenger. And even now, I don't have 100% control over the Tribulation Armor." Flame Emperor stroked his arm, and a layer of transparent armor appeared on the surface of his skin and scales. The armor had complex runes that were constantly changing, and it was incomparably profound. Mountain Passenger's ability to create treasures is indeed unparalleled in the universe. This Tribulation Armor was created for 3rd Junior Apprentice Brother, and other experts can't recognize it as its master. And although I can recognize it as its master, I can only use a portion of its power. Like a pearl, whoever recognized it would die. Although the Tribulation Armor wasn't that ridiculous, other experts couldn't use it at all. Even Flame Emperor could only use a portion of its power. Although I can only use a portion of its power, it's still stronger than many other top treasures. The Flare Emperor stroked the transparent armor and looked up at the figure in the distance. Gradually, a smile appeared on the Flare Emperor's face. "3rd Junior Brother, if you can come before me and see me, I will naturally respect the Mountain Guest's orders. I won't dare to disobey him. However, the prerequisite is, you have to see me, or at least come to where the Flame God race is." Flame Emperor said softly. As long as Luo Feng arrived and sent a message to the Undyings of the Flame God race, then Flame Emperor wouldn't be able to pretend he didn't know. However, if Luo Feng didn't even reach the base, and didn't see the upper echelon, naturally Flame Emperor could pretend he didn't know. You want the Tribulation Armor? You'll have to wait until you reach the Universe Night level. With your current strength, you can't reach the core of the Flame God race." Flame Emperor's majestic silhouette stood up and walked off the throne. He walked outside the palace and gazed into the endless void. Flame Emperor was very clear about Mountain Passenger's personality. What he did was completely within Mountain Passenger's tolerance. "Luck," Flame Emperor said softly. Immediately with the palace he was in as the center, it spread out in all directions. A few hundred light-years of space ripples were all locked down. Even though the space coordinates of the Flame God race have been covered long ago, just in case, I'll add a few more tricks. Even if you get the Primal Chaos City Leader to break it, he won't be able to do so in a short period of time. Flame Emperor smiled. With a movement of his body, He reached light speed and entered the dark universe to unleash his technique. So. Luo Feng teleported again and again, nearing the base. I'm almost there. Luo Feng was filled with anticipation. Luo Feng suddenly stopped and frowned at the space ahead. There were a few star shards floating there. The space ripples are actually completely locked? What's going on? Ancestral God Sect Base, within the 5-colored Extreme Light Lake, there's no way to teleport. Only a few areas within the Purple Thorn Island can teleport. Like the important areas of the human race's primal region, there's no way to teleport to. Luo Feng thought. Is it the same for the Flame God race, unable to teleport within a few hundred light years? With the Universe Lord's methods, by carving the origin law engravings on the special structures and then using the Fire God crystals to activate them, they could completely maintain the space lock for a long period of time. Or he could use it through some treasures. However, this way, won't the Flame God race be unable to teleport too? Luo Feng frowned. Or is my second senior intentionally sealing the space? Not good. Luo Feng's expression changed. Immediately, his wings flapped and he became a beam of light, swiftly reaching light speed and entering the dark universe. Luo Feng flew in the dark universe and very quickly arrived at the theoretical location of the Flame God race. The coordinates? Where are the coordinates for the 3 continents of the Flame God race? Luo Feng's left hand held the coordinate locator. The locator kept jumping from one coordinate to another. In between, a large portion of the coordinates vanished. Even after a while, at the same location, the locator changed again. Luo Feng was dumbstruck as he watched. This was much stronger than Hu Yenbo's method of concealing the coordinates back then. Vicious. Luo Feng said softly. Concealing the coordinates of the dark universe. Space lock. Meaning to say, I can only rely on flying to get there. A few hundred light years, even if I fly close to light speed, it'll still take a few hundred years to get there. At this point, how could Luo Feng still not understand? His second senior was indeed as he had guessed. After using the Calamity armor for so long, he didn't want to return it. He's concealing the coordinates and sealing the space. The only thing he didn't do is deal with me personally. Luo Feng thought. Looks like he doesn't dare to openly go against Mountain Guest. P.S. New chapter begins. This is the first chapter, there will be 5 chapters today. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1050. The Flame God Secret Region, in terms of danger, was far less than the Ancestor God Secret Region. With Luo Feng's current strength, just the secret region itself didn't pose a threat to him. A life ship was flying at sub-light speed within the region. Second Senior. Luo Feng sat within the control room, holding a glass of wine. Even Senior Pu Ti doesn't have a single true pinnacle treasure. You have 2, and at the same time you've taken up my Calamity armor for 1 trillion years. Such a treasure, I can understand why you can't bear to return it. However, being overly greedy isn't good. Luo Feng raised his head and drank the entire glass, before pouring himself another. The primal planet opens for 1,000 eras. I'll sit in the ship and fly slowly. In a few hundred years, I'll reach your base. A few hundred years? It's just a quiet training session. Luo Feng wasn't anxious at all. Within the main palace of the 3 continents of the Flame God clan, the Flame Emperor's majestic silhouette gazed into space. Looking through layers of space, he saw the completely purple life ship and even the leisurely drinking Luo Feng within. You actually don't retreat. The Flame Emperor shook his head. The space is locked, the dark universe coordinates are covered, you still don't retreat. My third junior, do you really think that if second senior wants to stop you, he can't? I didn't want to hurt our relationship, but since you insist on taking the armor, don't blame your second senior. The Flame Emperor's eyes gleamed coldly. Within the Nine Regions Alliance, on a seemingly normal life planet, there were a few mud frog people. Over 1,000 villages were scattered throughout the planet. In one of the mud frog tribe villages. Take the test one by one, the best one will receive personal guidance from the third elder. The moment he does, he'll definitely become a strong warrior and be able to fly. A group of mud frog people, under the orders of the tall and sturdy mud frog people, began to take the test one by one. In the distance, the third elder wielded his wooden staff and smiled as he surveyed everything. His jade-green eye was filled with joy. He loved such a peaceful life, living with the lowest rung of the race. Back when he was at his weakest, he too lived in such a simple and weak village. The third elder wielded his wooden staff and frowned. That human that is comparable to a heavenly life form Blade River Emperor Luo Feng actually appeared in the Flame God territory. And the exact coordinates. Third elder's jade green eye revealed a look of shock. Without a doubt, this news was definitely released by the Flame God race. This Flame Emperor is a universe lord. Blade River Emperor Luo Feng is in his territory. Why didn't he act personally? That made sense. The Flare Emperor was a top-notch existence even among the masters of the universe. He probably wouldn't care at all. Also, it is said that the Flare Emperor was also born in the human race, so he might have some misgivings. Blade River Emperor Luo Feng. At least 6 supreme treasures. The news has already spread. Those who dare to go are probably the overlords of the universe who are incomparably confident. I'm afraid those universe high-level venerables don't even have the qualifications to snatch it. The third elder looked down at the ongoing test. He liked living in a low-level village, but he knew very well that he was the true core pillar of the entire Mud Frog tribe. He was the strongest of the Mud Frog clan, so strengthening his own strength was his top priority. Soul-type supreme treasure, I must obtain it. The third elder was still standing there with the scepter in his hand, but his real body had already left the planet. What remained was only his clone. As an overlord of the universe, an energy clone with a thread of consciousness, maintaining a sector lord's strength was extremely easy. Ha ha ha, Blade River Emperor Luo Feng actually left the human race. A supreme treasure of the soul. He often spends time with the Bug Clan warriors. These are all masters of the soul. If he had a treasure of the soul, then he'd be safe. Ha ha ha, this treasure of the soul is mine. Within a universe secret region, a seemingly ordinary floating mountain suddenly opened its 9 huge eyes. The 9 eyes were filled with excitement, following which this mountain teleported and disappeared. Why did Luo Feng go to the Flame God territory? Isn't he looking for death? I thought he would die on the primal planet. I didn't expect him to think it's too early and run to the enemy's territory. The moment the absolute warriors of the human race received the news, they too exploded. The news spread like a whirlwind. The news first spread from the Ancestor God Sex Plaza in Glory World. The plaza was filled with the inheritors of the various superpowers of the universe. It was the top information center in the universe. Naturally, everyone knew about it very quickly. Ha, Blade River, I was afraid you would hide in the human race and not come out. Bark Mirror Emperor received the news that day too. Even though he couldn't go to Bauhinia Island or enter Glory World. However, the North Border Alliance had large numbers of inheritors there. Many of them were close to Bark Mirror Emperor. You actually came out and even came to the Flame God territory. Now that the primal planet is about to open, the universe overlords are complaining that they don't have enough treasures, or that their treasures aren't strong enough. Yet you suddenly appeared in the Flame God territory. You're looking for death. Don't blame me. Bark Mirror Emperor laughed heartily. This was probably the happiest moment since he was revived. The absolute warriors from the various races of the universe all had their own friends. Very quickly they rushed to the Flame God territory. Within the main palace of the 3 continents of the Flame God race. Flame Emperor. A blurry red light lit up and a silhouette walked out, shouting respectfully. "You're here." The majestic silhouette standing in front of the palace smiled. "Ba Feng, I called you here because of the Blade River Emperor Luo Feng." Venerable Ba Feng was a universe overlord of the 9 Territories Alliance. His body was like a bamboo pole, his head was square, and there was hair on his face. His 3 eyes formed a straight line, and just being stared at by him would cause one to fall into an illusion. Ba Feng Knight's strength was average among the universe overlords of the same level. However, he was extremely good at dealing with the weak. Blade River Emperor Luo Feng? Ba Feng Knight was curious. "I just received news that Blade River Emperor Luo Feng has appeared here." "Right." Flame Emperor nodded. Flame Emperor pointed into space. Immediately the space rippled and a few hundred light years away appeared before his eyes. It was a life ship flying. "This is the Blade River Emperor Luo Feng's ship." Flame Emperor smiled. "Flame Emperor, what do you mean?" Ba Feng Knight was confused. "You know, I'm originally from the human race. Against this punk. I don't want to do it myself," Flame Emperor said. "Hence, I'll let you do it." "I understand." Ba Feng Knight nodded. He had lived for a long time and knew about the Flame Emperor's betrayal of the human race. That was an explosive piece of news back in the universe. "Flame Emperor, don't worry. This Luo Feng is just an undying. Even though he has the strength of an intermediate knight, he has no power against me. Not just him. Even the advanced knights of the universe can't escape from me. In front of me, you won't be able to escape even if you want to," Venerable Ba Feng said confidently. The Flare Emperor only nodded slightly. "I know your methods." It was because Ba Feng Knight was good at dealing with the weak that he summoned him. "Flame Emperor, the moment you give the order, I'll act," Ba Feng Knight said. "Kill him or capture him, it's up to you." "Of course kill him," Flame Emperor said coldly. "Why would I capture a human alive?" "Yes." Ba Feng Knight didn't dare say more. "Of course, there's no rush now." Flame Emperor shook his head. "The news has already spread. Many foreign races will come to deal with him," Flame Emperor said. "Hence I called you here just in case. If those foreign races are too weak and this Luo Feng escapes, then I'll have to rely on you." Ba Feng Knight nodded. Flame Emperor's position in the 9 Regions Alliance was extremely high. He was one of the pinnacle beings. His position in the Alliance was definitely comparable to the Primal Chaos City leader's position in the Great Alliance. To be able to work for the Flame Emperor, Ba Feng Knight naturally didn't dare to slack off. "Watch," Flame Emperor said softly. "Yes." Ba Feng Knight stood obediently behind the majestic mountain like Flame Emperor. Flame Emperor, however, looked at that scene. He thought to himself, "My 3rd junior, I believe with your information network, you should know about the news I've released. If you retreat now, there's still time. If you're late, you won't be able to escape. I don't know, will you escape or continue heading towards me?" Within the life ship, Luo Feng sat there with a wine glass in hand. His consciousness was constantly connected to the virtual universe. Blade River. Chang Rain Emperor was the first to contact Luo Feng through the virtual universe. He was filled with anxiety. "The news has spread in the Plaza of Glory world. It's said that you are in the Flame God race territory, and heading towards their territory. Even the universe coordinates have been made public. Right now, many absolute warriors from other races are rushing over. You can't really be there, right?" Luo Feng was stunned. "Ah? The news has spread?" Luo Feng said. "Right, this news is very detailed. The moment I heard it, I knew it was real. Luo Feng, don't lie to me. You are in danger now, extremely dangerous." Chang Rain Emperor said anxiously. "Understood, thanks." Luo Feng smiled. "Don't be rash. Hurry and leave now. The absolute warriors from all over the universe are still rushing over. If you hesitate, I'm afraid you'll be chased very quickly." When that happens, you won't even be able to escape. Chong Rain Emperor was anxious. Relax, I understand, Luo Feng said. Luo Feng cut off his communication with Chong Rain Emperor. Following closely, Chamon Emperor, True Yen Knight and even Blood-Winged Knight etc. all contacted Luo Feng through the virtual universe. Obviously they too received the news and knew the situation wasn't good. Anyone could guess. The absolute warriors from all over the universe would definitely gather to kill Luo Feng. P.S. The second chapter has arrived. Continue writing. When everyone wakes up tomorrow, the fifth chapter will definitely be completed. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1051. Today was the third chapter. Within the main palace, the Flame Emperor stood with his eyes closed, only sending a thread of his consciousness through space and time to sense the energy ripples from Luo Feng's life ship. The moment any ripples appeared, he would sense it. Flame Emperor seems to value that human too much, he's actually standing here. Ba Feng the Knight thought, as the pinnacle of the universe lords, there's no need to care about a little human punk. However, on the surface, Ba Feng the Knight stood obediently behind the Flame Emperor, his face filled with respect and admiration. The Flame Emperor suddenly opened his eyes. What? An image appeared in the void in front of them. The biological spaceship stopped, and the golden-armored young man flew out. A misty, jade-green light appeared out of nowhere. God country teleportation? The Flame Emperor was shocked, thinking, has my third junior brother given up and left? In a space-sealed region, one could still teleport in the God country. Just like the altar in the flaming sacrifice continent, one couldn't teleport within, however they could teleport in the God country. After all, the two had different principles. This human Blade River Emperor is definitely afraid. Ba Feng the Knight said respectfully. He's also predicted that many other absolute warriors will arrive. He's definitely going to teleport back to the human domain. It's good that he escaped. The Flame Emperor smiled and said softly, that punk is lucky. It's the Flame Emperor's mercy. If the Flame Emperor acted and controlled the space, he wouldn't even have a chance of escaping. Ba Feng the Knight said. The Flame Emperor only smiled as he watched the image, not bothering to explain. The Flame Emperor's expression changed slightly. In the image, Luo Feng waved his hand and an ugly foreign race undying appeared. It first bowed respectfully at Luo Feng, after which it stepped into the misty jade-green light and teleported away from the God country. As for Luo Feng, he didn't leave, instead returning to the life ship and continuing on. He didn't escape back? The Flame Emperor frowned. Why did he send a slave back? Behind the majestic figure, Ba Feng the Knight was curious too. The first outsider has arrived. The Flare Emperor smiled and turned to look at another part of the void. Through the layers of void obstruction, the scene tens of thousands of light-years away floated in front of him. It was a giant serpent with a silver-white abdomen and a greenish-black back. It had 2 wings, and it had 9 horns on its forehead. The horns were forked and curved like branches. The 9 horns were wrapped around each other like a crown. Its pair of green eyes mixed with golden light coldly swept across the void. As if sensing the Flare Emperor's gaze, it slightly lowered its head, showing respect to the Flare Emperor. The demon race's evil wing hierarch, said Venerable Ba Feng. He is an ambitious and powerful overlord of the universe. The Flare Emperor commented casually. Suddenly, he looked in another direction. The void rippled and an image appeared. An elder of the Mud Frog race holding a black scepter appeared. The elder of the Mud Frog race also sensed the gaze and bowed slightly to show his respect. The Mud Frog sage, the Flare Emperor said softly. The first 2 to arrive are not ordinary. The third one is here. The Flare Emperor looked in another direction. The scene hundreds of thousands of light-years away appeared in the void. It was a handsome humanoid figure. However, there were 2 horns on his head that were thicker than his thighs. The horns were like braids that wrapped around his body. His blue eyes were like the starry sky, piercing straight into the soul. The outsider warrior bowed slightly too. Ma Sha Knight. The Flare Emperor said softly. He has a domain treasure. Among the 3, if Luo Feng meets him, it will be the hardest for him to escape. Ba Feng the Knight said solemnly, the Evil Wing Hierarch, the Mud Frog Sage and Ma Sha Knight are all famous absolute beings in the universe. All of them are powerful. The Evil Wing Hierarch is from the Pinnacle race, the Mud Frog Sage is the leader of a race. Ma Sha Knight even has that domain treasure. Blade River Emperor Luo Feng will find it hard to escape if he meets any one of them. The Flare Emperor smiled. Third brother, prepare for the feast I have prepared for you. The Flare Emperor said. Rumble. The god energy supplied by the main palace suddenly weakened. The space ceiling area was immediately reduced by 100 light-years. In the space of the Flame God's secret region, on a floating star fragment, the Evil Wing Hierarch's huge body slowly slid past. His cold eyes gazed into the distance. According to the news, Blade River Emperor should be there. The Evil Wing Hierarch let out a low voice that sounded like 2 planets colliding. Blade River, your treasures are all mine. So. He immediately teleported and swiftly closed in. Kill the Mud Frog clan for me. I must obtain the Saber River King's treasure. The old Mud Frog clan man wielding the black staff said softly. Simultaneously, he too teleported and swiftly closed in on the location of the news. I have a domain treasure. If I also have a soul treasure or a flying palace treasure, even a universe lord wouldn't find it easy to kill me. The devilishly handsome Reverend Ma Sha stroked his long curved horn, took a step forward, and teleported away. The news the Flare Emperor had spread throughout the universe. As it spread too far, normal universe knights didn't dare interfere. Plus the universe tyrants had stronger methods. As a result, the first 3 to arrive were all tyrants. The life ship slowed down and stopped. The space lock has disappeared? Luo Feng stood in mid-air and looked at the endless mist before him. Why would this second senior of mine be so kind as to close the space lock? Luo Feng closed his eyes and carefully felt. His Masha clansman's sense of space wasn't any weaker than the Universe Knight's. Following the ripples of space towards the Flame God clan, he could clearly feel that the ripples of space about 100 light-years away had completely stopped. It's not closed, it's just shrinking. No matter what you did, shrinking the area of the space lock has saved me over 100 years of flying time. Luo Feng waved his hand and kept the life ship. Simultaneously, he took a step and teleported. A few seconds after Luo Feng teleported, a huge winged snake silhouette appeared in mid-air. There's teleportation ripples. The Evil Wing Hierarch's jade-green eyes were filled with excitement. He, the Mud Frog Sage and Ma Sha Knight appeared in different locations. They were very far from each other, hence they couldn't sense each other's teleportation. Plus he was the closest, naturally he was the first to close in on Luo Feng. To Universe Venerables, they had to be within 1,000 light-years to be able to sense the teleportation ripples. It must be him. The Evil Wing Hierarch's huge wings flapped and with a swing of his tail, he teleported and closed in. Luo Feng directly reached the outer area of the space lock. My second senior brother has suddenly shrunk the area? Luo Feng stood in the mist-filled space, looking behind him. Don't tell me those aliens have arrived? Who cares? Luo Feng became a beam of light and flew into the space lock. Rumble, as Luo Feng flew into the space lock, the Evil Wing Hierarch's huge silhouette appeared. He immediately saw the distant beam of light. Human Blade River. The Evil Wing Hierarch's extremely low voice was transmitted through his god energy. So, the Evil Wing Hierarch swiftly chased. Luo Feng maintained close to light speed and flew in the Flame God secret region. He turned to look at the Evil Wing Hierarch chasing after him. You can't catch up. Luo Feng glanced. Human Blade River, you can't escape. The evil wing hierarch chased from behind. Luo Feng didn't care about him at all. He maintained close to light speed and flew in a straight line. This was already his highest speed. If he went any faster, he would reach light speed and enter the Dark Universe. One had to know that the Dark Universe coordinates around the Flame God clan were completely covered. The moment he entered the Dark Universe, he would waste a lot of time. Origin Law Domain. The evil wing hierarch suddenly unleashed his Origin Law Domain. The surrounding 100 million kilometers immediately fell into the domain. Luo Feng 2. Rumble. Luo Feng's god energy burned and his energy filled the sky. He maintained close to light speed and didn't slow down at all. Just relying on one Origin Law Domain is useless. Luo Feng glanced at the evil wing hierarch behind him. Suddenly 2 powerful ripples appeared, shocking Luo Feng. Not good, there are other pursuers. The evil wing hierarch felt something was amiss and turned to look. 2 powerful auras quickly chased after him. It was the Mud Frog Wise Sage and Ma Sha Supremacy. After they teleported one after the other, they rushed into the sealed space and chased after him. Luo Feng fled while the 3 Universe Lords chased. However, within the space lock, he couldn't teleport. Haha, old mud doll, evil wing. This is the space lock region. Your Origin Law Domains can at most affect the Blade River Emperor. To kill or trap him, it's far from enough. Looks like luck is on my side. The heavens favor me, and the soul-type treasure is also mine. Venerable Ma Sha, who was at the back, laughed heartily. 90 million Sand River region, done. Ma Sha Knight's voice rumbled and resounded in the ears of the evil wing hierarch and the Mud Frog Sage. The huge spherical region that spanned over 100 million kilometers was filled with countless grains of sand. Each grain of sand was indestructible. Although each grain of sand was extremely weak, when countless grains of sand gathered together, their power could easily annihilate some universe supremacies. Damn! The evil wing hierarch's eyes were filled with rage. He looked at Ma Sha Knight from afar. Ma Sha, this treasure belongs to me too. Ma Sha Knight, don't be too greedy. The Mud Frog Sage looked at Ma Sha Knight from afar. If it's mine, it's mine. Damn old Mud Frog, you actually dare attack me? Ma Sha Knight's handsome face was filled with rage. It's no use. Your soul attacks aren't strong enough. At most they can affect me. I'm not going to waste my time with you too. Human Blade River, die. The treasure belongs to me. With Ma Sha Knight's control. Rumble. The endless sand grains all glowed and madly gathered towards Luo Feng. As the countless grains gathered, their power stacked and formed a huge sand whirlpool that swept towards Luo Feng. Third junior brother, don't blame second senior brother for taking those precious treasures of yours. Who asked you to have them? Within the Flame God Clan Space Palace, the Flame Emperor watched everything unfold. P.S. Chapter 3 has ended. Tomato will continue writing Chapter 4. Not finished yet. If you like this work, please come to Chidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1052. Flame Emperor looked at the scene a few hundred light years away. Everything was within his control. Luo Feng looked at the huge sand whirlpool around him. This sand whirlpool was about 100 kilometers tall and thick. Every grain's power was small, but after the countless grains gathered, Luo Feng felt like he was about to be crushed. Masha clansman. Luo Feng held a stone in his left hand. Who? The stone immediately vanished. Rumble. The endless sand whirlpool immediately crushed Luo Feng. Immediately he was smashed into pieces, following which he was crushed into nothingness by the countless grains. The human Blade River is dead, dead. His treasures are mine. In the distance, Ma Sha Knight was incredibly excited and excited. He could feel the treasures within the endless sand. He had never realized before that obtaining treasures was so easy. There were at least 6 treasures, and he could actually obtain them so easily. It was simply to, where are my treasures? Where are they? Ma Sha Knight suddenly let out a loud and furious roar. No matter how he searched, he couldn't find a single treasure. So, in the distance, a golden-armored youth appeared. Luo Feng. Blade River Emperor Luo Feng. He's there. The evil wing leader and the sage saw him. He was surrounded by the endless sand earlier. How did he suddenly appear 10,000 kilometers away? Was it teleportation? But within the space lock, there's no way to teleport. The human Blade River. Ma Sha Knight stared in disbelief at the distant Luo Feng. He actually didn't die. Ma Sha Knight roared. The surrounding endless sand madly pressed down on Luo Feng. Who? Luo Feng seemed to vanish into thin air, immediately appearing 10,000 kilometers away. Xiao! 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 Luo Feng madly flickered. In the blink of an eye, he was already 10,000 kilometers away. It's not teleportation, it's a natural ability. It's a space-type natural ability domain. The sage frowned. Trouble. The evil wing's cult master coiled his body and spread his wings. He turned his head to look at the furious supremacy Ma Sha and sneered. Old Mudfrog, I'm afraid that supremacy Ma Sha is the most disappointed among the 3 of us. Luo Feng still managed to escape. This Luo Feng has a natural talent that allows him to escape from even universe lords. Only a few universe overlords can stop him from escaping. Yes. The clay frog wise man nodded. Domain first fused with space before transforming into a divine body. No matter how supremacy Ma Sha controlled the treasures to attack, he could easily dodge them once they merged into space. Of course, if they encountered the Master of the Universe, the Master of the Universe would be able to completely control a region of spacetime. Everything in this region of spacetime could be controlled. Even if it merged with space, it could be forcibly kicked out. However, Reverend Ma Sha, the Mud Frog Sage, and the Evil Wing's cult leader could not do it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. He could only watch as Luo Feng escaped, unable to do anything to him. Just the natural ability domain made Ma Sha Knight feel helpless. He could only rage and roar. The Mud Frog Wise Man and the Evil Wing's hierarch watched all of this with interest. You 2 didn't even get it. What are you so proud of? Ma Sha Knight raged. Ma Sha Knight, you 2 are an overlord of the universe. Look at you lose your composure. The sage smiled. The Evil Wing's cult leader and I weren't proud at all. It's just that the 3 of us chased that Blade River Emperor Luo Feng together. We both believed that you had a chance of getting it, hence we didn't have much hope at the start. Naturally we weren't disappointed even if we failed. However, you are different. Just as we were about to get the treasure, we didn't expect the Blade River Emperor Luo Feng to still have such a trump card. The treasure slipped away again. Such pain, haha, we can imagine. Ha ha ha. The Evil Wing's cult leader too let out a low laugh. Let's go. The Evil Wing's cult leader said. Old Mud Frog. The sage smiled and nodded. Along with the Evil Wing's cult leader, their speed rose to light speed, and they entered the dark space and left. Damn, bastard, idiot, Ma Sha Knight's handsome face was filled with malevolence. Even though he was an overlord of the universe, it didn't mean he wasn't angry. It was just that there were very few things that could make him angry. This time, he thought he would get at least 6 treasures, including the soul treasure and the flying palace treasure. However, he suddenly missed out. This difference made Ma Sha Knight feel pain and rage. Blade River. Ma Sha Knight gritted his teeth and roared. He could only enter the dark space and leave. Within the main palace of the 3 continents of the Flame God clan, Ba Feng Knight was extremely careful and didn't dare make a sound. He could feel the rage of the Flame Emperor. The Flame Emperor looked coldly at the space. The space rippled and images appeared. Luo Feng was using his natural ability domain to move forward again and again. Very good, my third junior. I've really underestimated you. The Flame Emperor thought, coldly watching the images. Flame Emperor, what do we do now? Ba Feng Knight felt the Flame Emperor's energy calm down before speaking. You have a way to kill him? The Flame Emperor looked at Ba Feng Knight. If he keeps on fleeing, I have no way to stop him. Ba Feng Knight shook his head. This is the natural ability domain. Only special life forms that specialize in concealment and fleeing have it. Rumor has it that within the Masha clan, only a few have such abilities. Even though these life forms have average battle capabilities, their survivability is extremely strong. Wait. The Flame Emperor looked coldly at the space. Right now, the other alien races are arriving one after another. There are universe overlords and even high-level knight. Who knows, there might be someone who can stop this human Blade River Emperor. Ba Feng Knight listened obediently. He was suspicious within. Does the Flame Emperor have to insist on killing this Blade River Emperor Luo Feng? If he really wants to kill him, he could just do it himself. If he does, he can destroy Blade River Emperor Luo Feng with a flick of his hand. However, he doesn't do it himself. He's still watching. That's weird. Within the Flame God secret area, Luo Feng unleashed his natural ability domain for a while before sitting in the life form ship and continuing forward. Second Senior, the moment you sealed the space and covered the dark universe coordinates, I guessed your intentions. Luo Feng raised his wine glass. Hence I got my slave to bring my golden-horned beast body and my many treasures back to the human domain. Earth deity, Masha race clone, serene ocean clone. These three don't even have a single treasure. Even if I fail, I'll just waste some energy. Luo Feng sneered. Luo Feng wasn't an idiot. Knowing that the Flame Emperor wouldn't easily return the plunder armor, he naturally wouldn't risk the Pagoda Pearl or the Killing Wu Wings. Letting the golden-horned beast bring the treasures back to the human domain would naturally allow him to face any difficulties. Previously, when they had been attacked by Supremacy Masha's domain-type treasure, the Earthling's main body had been destroyed, but the Masha clone had escaped with the World Ring. The Netherworld Ocean clone was hidden in the World Ring. With the divine power contained in the Netherworld Ocean clone, it had easily restored the Earthling's main body that had been destroyed. This time, I've revealed one of my trump cards for escaping, my secret talent, Domain. Luo Feng squinted. The Primal Chaos City leader teacher said before, this technique, against a Universe Lord, has a 100% chance of escaping. I've revealed this technique to get the plunder armor. The plunder armor, I have to get it. Luo Feng looked into space. He guessed that the Flame Emperor was observing his every move. If it's mine, it's mine. Even if you want to keep it, you won't be able to. Luo Feng smiled. Times following the arrival of the Evil Wing leader and the first batch of 3 universe overlords, very quickly, the other universe overlords and high-level knights from the various superpowers all rushed over from the distant territories. Using the God Country teleportation and teleportation techniques, they swiftly rushed towards the Flame God clan. Their numbers grew. As Luo Feng was deep within the space seal, the other warriors couldn't catch up at all. Hence, the Flame Emperor shrunk the space seal by close to 100 light-years. This way, the other pursuers could easily catch up to Luo Feng. Second Senior, you're really shameless. Luo Feng laughed within. Xiao. Luo Feng didn't hesitate this time. First, he teleported to the edge of the space seal and used his natural ability domain to swiftly enter the space seal. When the fastest foreign warrior caught up, he was a few million km away from Luo Feng. And the natural ability domain was enough to make the other foreign warriors give up. When Luo Feng entered the depths of the space seal, the others that arrived later didn't even have the chance to try. A bunch of trash. The Flame Emperor's gaze caused the floating images to shatter. At this time, he didn't even bother to hide his rage and unleashed it. The entire palace seemed to be engulfed in a sea of rage. Beside him, Ba Feng Knight was filled with shock and fear. He didn't understand why Luo Feng didn't die and why the Flame Emperor would be so angry. Step down. The Flame Emperor glanced at him. Yes. Ba Feng Knight said respectfully and stepped into the blurry red light and left. Trash, trash, a bunch of trash. The Flame Emperor hadn't been this angry in a long time. His scheme against Luo Feng failed, and Luo Feng taking the Calamity Armor made him furious. Third Junior, you can slowly fly. It'll still take over 100 years to reach me. The Flame Emperor said coldly. He had already shrunk the space ceiling region twice. He was, after all, a high and mighty master of the universe. It was only because Mountain Passenger and the Tribulation Armor were involved that he lost his composure and did something as shameless as shrinking the space ceiling region twice. The Primal Star is about to open. I'll first head to the Primal Star to battle. Maybe I'll get a treasure comparable to the Calamity Armor. The Flame Emperor thought. However, he knew the chances of that were extremely low, as he had experienced the Primal Star opening many times. Even though he had gotten many treasures, most of them were normal. There were very few high-level treasures and none of the pinnacle treasures. Of course, from his exploration and killing in the other regions, he paid a huge price to prepare a pinnacle armor as a backup. However, comparing treasures was the worst. That pinnacle armor compared to the Calamity Armor was on a completely different level. Humph! The Flame Emperor sat in his throne. Looking at the endless space, he closed his eyes and waited for the Primal Star to open. He had no way of dealing with Luo Feng. After all, with Mountain Passenger as a deterrent, he didn't dare go overboard. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Qidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1053. The hunt for Luo Feng could be said to be all talk and no action. Before, it was grand and majestic, attracting many absolute warriors from every race of the universe to rush over. However, Luo Feng's natural talent domain, the moment it was unleashed, at least those who were chasing him back then had no choice but to give up. As for the absolute warriors who rushed over later, as they were too late, Luo Feng had long entered the space lock region, they had no way of chasing him. Hence, the matter ended just like that. However, at the same time, Luo Feng's secret move, natural talent domain, was spread. At least the 10 warriors who were chasing him all knew about it, 1 to 10, 10 to 100, naturally it was spread. This made many of the other races shocked. The human Blade River Emperor actually had such a powerful move. He actually looks down on me. Pei Feng Knight was even more enraged when he heard the news. Back when I fought him, he actually hid this move, fighting me without going all out. Blade River, you sure are vicious. This human Blade River dodged yet another attack. Why is he so hard to kill? After Bark Mirror Emperor found out, he was even more enraged, his roar causing the walls of the study room to shatter. The other races were shocked. The human race was shocked too. The natural talent domain was a natural talent gifted by the universe. It couldn't be acquired through training. Just with this move, Blade River Emperor can live for a long time on Primal Star. Just with this move, as long as he doesn't meet a Universe Lord, he can live. The natural talent domain is heavenly. The majority of the knights have no way of dealing with it. However, there are still some that are heavenly. Like the legendary Strongest World Tree, combined with his natural talent, it's already comparable to a Universe Lord's control of space and time. There are also other special life forms that can suppress the natural talent domain. The discussions of the outside world, Luo Feng roughly understood it through the virtual universe. This made him exclaim, to gain the respect of the other warriors, one had to rely on strength. Before, many human knights thought Luo Feng was looking for death by going to Primal Star. However, now that the natural talent domain was revealed, there were obviously fewer who thought he was looking for death. Domain, it's just for escaping. On Primal Star, when treasures appear, to fight for them, one has to fight and kill. Luo Feng thought, just relying on escaping isn't enough. Armor, I have to get it. Compared to the tribulation armor, the exposure of his innate secret technique, domain, was not even worth mentioning. This tribulation armor was a priceless treasure that even the Flare Emperor and other super existences coveted. Even the primal Chaos City Master would be willing to risk his life and kill for such a treasure. Time passed, year after year. In the blink of an eye, 10 years had passed. Luo Feng, at the peak of the Lightning Island, the primal Chaos City Master stood at the edge of the cliff, looking down. Tomorrow the Primal Star will open. I heard you intend to go too? Yes, teacher. Luo Feng stood behind the primal Chaos City leader. What's the plan? Who do you want to form a team with? Did you invite any experts? The primal Chaos City Master asked. No. Luo Feng shook his head. If you want to form a team with someone, I can help. The primal Chaos City Lord said, your strength is still slightly weak. Universe high-level warriors usually find 2 to 3 experts to complement each other and increase their chances of survival. You should also find suitable experts to help each other. Who will I form a team with? Luo Feng shook his head. Universe high-level warriors forming a team doesn't mean much to me. As for forming a team with the universe overlords, even if they are willing, it would probably be because of you. In their hearts, they would probably think I'm dragging them down. It's better for me to go alone. Alone? The primal Chaos City leader was shocked. Your disciple is only going to experience it, I'll be careful. Luo Feng said. Right, you have the Blood Ocean as your foundation. The primal Chaos City leader nodded. You can handle everything yourself. However, Luo Feng, why did you go to the Flame God clan and reveal your innate technique domain? Any trump card that's revealed is no longer a trump card. If the enemy wants to deal with you, they'll have to make preparations to deal with this move. Hence, the more powerful the move, the more you have to hide it. Unless it's a critical moment, you can't use it. Your disciple understands. Luo Feng said, your disciple is going to the Flame God clan because of some personal matters. Personal matters? The primal Chaos City leader looked at Luo Feng with interest. I won't bother too much with personal matters. Only that the Flame God clan is the Flame Emperor's territory. That Flame Emperor is an extremely strong being amongst the universe lords. Back then, in terms of talent and improvement, he probably wasn't any weaker than you, and was equally dazzling. If you've checked the information, you should know that the Flame Emperor was originally a human. The primal Chaos City leader said softly. Maybe it's because he was too dazzling, growing and becoming invincible. No one at the same level could match up to him. He's never lost, winning time and time again. Hence, he doesn't even put anyone in his eyes. He's extremely heroic and fearless. Indeed, he's a strong warrior. However, he lacks fear too. Maybe he thinks no one can suppress him. His ambition is too big, and he's not willing to be below others. The primal Chaos City leader shook his head. Luo Feng listened quietly. His ambition was too big, and he wasn't willing to be below others? And he has a flaw in his personality. He only remembers how others treat him badly, and doesn't remember how well they treat him. The primal Chaos City leader shook his head. After becoming a universe lord, because of his numerous battles, he became even more arrogant, and extremely selfish. Extremely selfish? Luo Feng was shocked within. He actually tried to kill a universe lord from his own race. The primal Chaos City leader sighed, just to steal the treasures. Many conflicts erupted at once. The creator of the huge axe finally decided to punish him, and only wanted to lock him up to make him reflect. Who would have thought that he would actually bring his people from his home and betray humanity and leave? He's become the joke of the entire universe. Luo Feng was shocked within. He's indeed a genius. The primal Chaos City leader exclaimed, looking at you, it's like looking at him back then. He was nurtured to become an absolute warrior, and finally turned around to bite back. Even during the race wars, when the absolute warriors fight, he's even more ruthless against humanity. The primal Chaos City leader shook his head. Luo Feng, if he wants to make a move against you, immediately summon me, I'll definitely rush over immediately. Luo Feng nodded. This conversation shocked Luo Feng. His second senior was actually like that. Selfish? Right, it's selfish. The armor was left for me by Teacher Mountain Passenger, yet he thought of ways to keep it. Luo Feng recalled his own experiences, and was wary of this second senior. The second day, the primal planet opened. This was a huge event for the trillions of races in the universe. Of course, the Undyings didn't even know that this was a slaughter feast for the absolute warriors. Even though Luo Feng was in the Flame God race's territory and couldn't personally witness the opening of the primal planet through the virtual universe, he was still able to watch the scenes of the many pathways opening. The scenes of the pathways opening were earth-shattering. The power was limitless. Every pathway's power was even more terrifying than the Universe Lord's. Following which, many teams from different powers began to rush into the primal planet. 10,081 pathways were scattered throughout the universe. The trillions of races formed the absolute powers, the absolute beings, either by themselves or in groups of 2 or 3, flew into the pathways and entered the primal planet. 10,081 primal planets. The bloody slaughter began. The universe is taking care of me. The armor is about to be taken away by my third junior. Teacher Mountain Passenger is watching me and can't do anything. Taking away one armor, who knows, I might get even better treasures. The Flame Emperor's majestic silhouette passed through one pathway and landed on another primal planet. The life ship traveled through the mist in space. Luo Feng's days were extremely peaceful. He spent most of his energy on the space laws and the beast god path. During the 80,000 years he spent creating his absolute arts, Luo Feng's space laws had already comprehended the second mystery seal. As for the third, he was close to comprehending it too. Comprehending the 3 mysteries and merging them into one, he would truly step into the realm of a universe knight. Obviously Luo Feng still needed a long period of time. The primal planet is really cruel. Even though Luo Feng didn't go, he still watched a few videos, brought out by the warriors from the primal planet. The primal planet was the closest place to the universe laws, a true treasure planet. It was also filled with danger, and stepping into the primal planet, one couldn't connect to the virtual universe. This was the first place Luo Feng knew of that couldn't connect to the virtual universe. My decision was wise. If I didn't have the armor, with my current strength, I would only be able to flee. Luo Feng endured silently. And during his peaceful 100 years, due to the appearance of the treasures, there were 12 large-scale battles on the primal planet. In these 12 large-scale bloody battles, hundreds of universe venerables and over 20 universe overlords had fallen, but the universe lords were all fine. Of course, the large powers of the universe were especially excited about the battles, because the more valuable the treasures, the more warriors they would send, regardless of the cost. There isn't even a clear video. Luo Feng shook his head. That's right, that level of mad slaughter, destruction, there's indeed no way to record it clearly. It's a pity, these 12 large-scale battles have nothing to do with me. However, very soon they will be. Luo Feng stood in the control room. Through the external simulation, he looked at the distant 3 huge continents. That was the legendary place of the Flame God race. Even though he had seen the 3 continents long ago, the distance was too far. He still had to fly for over a month before finally reaching the border. This is the territory of our flame god race, human, you actually dare to come here. A flame god silver-armored undying flew over, his eyes filled with rage. Humph. Luo Feng frowned, his aura emanated and suppressed the undying. Flame Emperor. I've already arrived at your flame god race territory. Luo Feng looked at the palace in the center of the 3 continents and his voice resounded. Show yourself. Author's note. Wow, I've finished the 4th and 5th chapters in one go. Who? Completed. The 5th chapter was completed. I strongly request for my monthly and recommended votes to Tomato Hehe. Tomorrow Tomato will definitely sleep till noon, hence tomorrow's 2 chapters will be updated at night. Asterisk to be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1054. Presumptuous. The flame god undying roared. A long spear suddenly appeared in his palm and pointed at Luo Feng. Human, do you think the Flame Emperor is someone you can meet just because you want to? The Flame Emperor was the absolute leader of the Flame God race. Even though Luo Feng's strength was extremely strong, this Flame God warrior didn't retreat at all. Luo Feng glanced at the Flame God undying. Under his pressure, he was still filled with fighting spirit. He immediately expanded his god energy and engulfed the Flame God undying. Under absolute strength, the Flame God undying's raging eyes were about to spit fire, however he couldn't even make a sound. Luo Feng looked at the distant palace and said, Flame Emperor, even a normal undying dares to roar at me. Don't tell me you don't dare to show yourself? This is your race's base, and also the space you control. Don't pretend that you didn't hear what I said. After saying that, Luo Feng waited silently. No one was stupid. This was the base of the Flame God race. The Flame Emperor definitely had absolute monitoring method. If the Emperor pretended not to hear, he would be treating Luo Feng like a fool. After a while, rumble, the distant main palace emitted a powerful god energy ripple, following which the space lock from before closed. A silhouette flashed and appeared before Luo Feng. Is this the human Blade River Emperor Luo Feng? A tall and sturdy horned bald man dressed in black armor said. He was about 10 m tall and his skin was covered in a layer of scales, almost like snake scales. Even his face was covered in scales, only his head was bald and shiny. Right. Luo Feng nodded. This tall and sturdy horned bald man was a universe knight of the Flame God race. I'm Bing Wei Knight. The bald one-horned venerable laughed. The Flare Emperor asked me to wait here for Blade River King, and I've finally waited. The moment I knew that Blade River King had arrived, I immediately closed the spatial seal protecting the clan. Luo Feng scoffed within. Closed? The space lock was probably specially prepared for him. As the two conversed, the flame god undying that was suppressed by Luo Feng's god energy couldn't hear anything. Can Blade River Emperor let my clansmen go? The Horn Knight said. Luo Feng immediately retracted his god energy. The one-horned venerable immediately turned to look at the clansmen and shouted, Retreat quickly. Yes, sovereign. The undying warrior bowed respectfully, then teleported away. The one-horned knight smiled at Luo Feng. Blade River Emperor, please follow me. Luo Feng nodded and didn't refuse. He was not afraid of the Flare Emperor playing tricks. He had not arrived here before, so encountering some obstructions was nothing. However, since he had already arrived at the base of the Flame God race, if the Flame Emperor played any tricks, he would be insulting Luo Feng and his teacher Mountain Passenger. The two of them teleported forward and arrived at the palace complex. The flames around the palace parted to form a path. At the end of the path were 2 rows of Flame God race undying warriors. Luo Feng and the Horn Knight walked side by side. Where's the Flame Emperor? Luo Feng asked. That's the main hall. The one-horned venerable pointed at the tallest palace in the distance. This is also the residence of the Flare Emperor. The 2 palaces beside it are side halls, where ordinary guests stay temporarily. Saber River King, wait in the side hall first. When the Flare Emperor arrives, you will naturally meet him. Luo Feng's expression changed. Stall for time. Luo Feng stared at the one-horned venerable. Did the Flame Emperor order you this? Have you informed him of my arrival? Don't tell me there's no way to inform him. Humph, the Flame Emperor is the only universe lord of the entire Flame God race. He will definitely grasp the news of this place. Blade River Emperor, don't be anxious. The one-horned venerable didn't care about Luo Feng's anger. I've just sent the news to the Flame Emperor. However, he is currently on the Primal Star, hence, returning from the Primal Star, using the God Country's teleportation, it'll only take a moment. Luo Feng said coldly. Lead the way. I'll temporarily follow your arrangements and wait in the side hall. I want to see when the Flame Emperor will appear. Please follow me. The one-horned venerable walked coldly in front. The two of them entered the side hall one after another. The one-horned venerable ordered his servants to prepare some delicacies and left immediately. A punk actually dares to be so arrogant. The one-horned venerable stood in the distance. Looking at the side hall, he laughed coldly. Even though he's an undying life form, he's merely an intermediate knight. At most, he's good at escaping. He actually dares to be disrespectful to our Flame Emperor. Humph, if it wasn't for him ordering me not to cause trouble, I'll definitely let you know the consequences of being disrespectful to him. Humph. The one-horned venerable turned and left. He couldn't be bothered with Luo Feng at all. Within the side hall, delicacies from various parts of the universe were placed on the table. There were also many types of wine. Just this food alone was enough for an emperor-level undying to spend all of his wealth. This second senior of mine sure is arrogant. Luo Feng sat there. News of my whereabouts being leaked, it's almost certain that he was the one who spread it. He obviously knew I was coming, yet he delayed. My arrival this time was on Mountain Traveler's orders. Once I'm strong enough to activate the armor, I'll retrieve it. This was Mountain Traveler Teacher's orders. He's acting like a universe lord. Luo Feng shook his head. The armor was originally Luo Feng's item. The Flame Emperor had used it for so long. Now that the owner Luo Feng had appeared, not only was he not in a rush to return it, he even ordered his subordinates to deal with Luo Feng. I'll wait. Let's see how long I have to wait. Luo Feng thought. This matter has already gotten out of hand. Large amounts of absolute warriors from the universe are chasing after me, news is flying everywhere. Mountain Traveler Teacher definitely knows and is paying attention to this. Second senior brother, Teacher Mountain Traveler is watching. I want to see how far you can put on airs. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 1 month, 2 months, there was no news at all. The Flame Emperor just didn't show himself. Delay, continue to delay. Luo Feng closed his eyes. His consciousness connected to the virtual universe to meditate while he waited. His strength wasn't enough. He could only wait. 3RD Jr., let me first suppress your arrogance. The absolute genius of the human race? I was even stronger than you back then. I'll let you understand that you should respect your seniors. The Flame Emperor sat cross-legged in an ancient forest on the primal planet. He carefully felt the ripples in the distance. If any treasures were to appear, there would be a special movement. Luo Feng had been waiting in the palace for over a year. During this time, he had been patiently waiting. Suddenly one day, Luo Feng was meditating cross-legged. Rumble! A powerful pressure spread out, enveloping the entire Void Palace complex, causing the countless servants and undying warriors to immediately bow respectfully. Luo Feng opened his eyes. He's finally here. Rumble, the space around him immediately changed. Luo Feng only felt the scene before him change, and he was already in a vast palace. On the throne sat a majestic silhouette. His entire body was covered in dense scales. That huge horn, he looked exactly like the flame god race. His eyes gazed down at Luo Feng. A formless pressure made Luo Feng feel like he was in a furnace. Second Senior. Luo Feng looked up at the Flame Emperor and smiled. Second Senior has finally arrived. I've waited for a long time. Rumble. The majestic silhouette stood up and walked down step by step. As he walked down the stairs, his body shrunk. By the time he reached the bottom, he was already the same height as Luo Feng. From Luo Feng's perspective as an Earth person, the Flame Emperor had a domineering aura that shot through the skies. It was a domineering aura. That domineering aura came from his bones and soul. It was naturally emitted without any intent. This was different from some arrogant and domineering warriors that people hated. The Flame Emperor's domineering aura only made people exclaim that this was an overlord. Third Junior. The Flame Emperor looked at Luo Feng with a smile in his eyes. Senior on Primal Planet, fighting for treasures with countless other races. Coincidentally, at the crucial moment of the birth of a treasure, hence I was delayed. I believe you won't mind. Of course I won't mind, Luo Feng said. HM. The Flame Emperor nodded. I've chatted with Pu Ti. Teacher Mountain Passenger has instructed me on some things. As for you, I've specially gathered some information. You are indeed a rare absolute genius of the human race. However, you should know that all of this was given to you by Teacher Mountain Passenger. Hence, you mustn't be arrogant. You have to train humbly and quickly become a Universe Knight or even a Universe Lord. Your First Senior and I have been waiting for this day. Luo Feng frowned. He didn't like the Flame Emperor's high and mighty attitude. However, he still replied, I'll naturally work hard. Your luck isn't bad. To be able to survive the Star Pagoda life and death inheritance and become Teacher Mountain Passenger's third disciple. The Flame Emperor looked at Luo Feng. Hence you should treasure this opportunity and not disappoint him. Second Senior. Luo Feng said directly. My goal for coming here, I believe you know it. Haha, for the plunder armor, of course I know. The Flame Emperor smiled at Luo Feng. Towards this third junior, the Flame Emperor instinctively hated him. As back then Mountain Passenger gave his all to nurture him, hence he was considered one of the top absolute geniuses in the universe. And the current Luo Feng wasn't any weaker than him. Even the Flame Emperor knew, this third junior would one day possess the ultimate treasure Star Pagoda. The Flame Emperor saw a huge threat from Luo Feng. However, Luo Feng was also the third disciple that Mountain Passenger gave his all to nurture. He had no way of stopping him. Towards his First Senior Pu Ti, the Flame Emperor didn't even bother with him. He was just a servant of Mountain Passenger's teacher, his strength was much weaker than his. However, towards his third junior, the Flame Emperor was extremely cautious. Right, I'm here for the plunder armor, Luo Feng said. Teacher Mountain Passenger instructed me to retrieve it from Second Senior after I can activate it. Hence, I'm here now. The plunder armor is an absolute treasure of the vast universe. The Flame Emperor looked at Luo Feng. Its power is boundless. You're only an undying now and your strength is too weak. You can't even unleash much of its power. In fact, you might even lose the tribulation armor in your hands. From what I see, for the plunder armor and for yourself, you should train more and raise your strength to become a Universe Knight. It won't be too late to retrieve the plunder armor then. I'll temporarily keep it safe for you. Once you become a Universe Knight, I'll give it to you. P.S. First chapter here. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1055. Within the Palace. Luo Feng, who had always been unhappy with the Flame Emperor, raged within. The armor is my own item, whether I can use it or not, whether I lose it, what does that have to do with you? I'm under Teacher Mountain Passenger's orders to retrieve the armor, you just have to give it to me, what's the point of all this nonsense? Even though he was raging, Luo Feng could only suppress it. The Flame Emperor smiled and looked at Luo Feng. Junior, train well and quickly step into the Universe Knight level, that way you can use the armor. Second senior brother. Luo Feng smiled too. You don't have the armor, even though you were chased by countless warriors of the universe before, you were still able to survive. If you have the armor, naturally your strength will rise greatly, and you won't die so easily. Second senior brother, you don't have to worry about me, just give me the armor. Don't leave it to luck. The Flame Emperor roared fiercely, his voice shaking Luo Feng's soul. The Tribulation Armor is a supreme treasure that even the masters of the universe yearn for. How could you have such wishful thinking? The Flame Emperor stared at Luo Feng, his aura emanating, causing Luo Feng to feel like an endless mountain was pressing down on him. Even though this armor is yours, it's still something Teacher Mountain Passenger paid a huge price to craft. You have to guarantee that it won't be lost. I'm doing this for your own good. Train well, once you reach the Universe Knight level, I'll naturally give it to you. The Flame Emperor's voice rumbled, stirring Luo Feng's soul. However, Luo Feng's willpower was extremely strong, even without the protection of the pearl. His willpower and consciousness was still at the level of a Universe Lord, and the Flame Emperor was after all just a powerful Universe Lord that specialized in close combat, and just relying on his voice to make a Universe Lord change his mind was obviously far from enough. Second senior, are you not going to give me the armor? Luo Feng stared at the Flame Emperor. Humph. The Flame Emperor's rage immediately surged. In an instant the entire palace was filled with waves of rage. That pressure pressed down on Luo Feng. The Flame Emperor's solemn voice resounded. Third Junior, I'm under Teacher Mountain Passenger's orders to protect the armor for you for 1,000,000,000,000 years. I'll give it to you when you're strong enough. Right now, even though you can use it, your strength is still very weak. I'm thinking for your own good. If you lose it, wouldn't I disappoint Teacher Mountain Passenger? That won't be necessary. Luo Feng wasn't moved at all. If I lose the armor, I'll explain it to Teacher Mountain Guest. Explain? How are you going to explain it? Shouted the Flare Emperor. That has nothing to do with Senior. Luo Feng replied stiffly. You've really become arrogant just because you have some achievement. The Flare Emperor shook his head. Luo Feng looked at the Flare Emperor, his voice calm. Second Senior, let's not talk too much. I'm here today to retrieve the armor. Are you going to give it to me or not? You're not strong enough. The Flare Emperor said. Since Second Senior brother doesn't want to give it to me, and I don't have the ability to take it by force, then I can only report it to Teacher Mountain Passenger. If Teacher Mountain Passenger feels that the Calamity Armor should remain in Second Senior's hands, then I naturally won't come and disturb Second Senior. Luo Feng slightly bowed. I'll be leaving first, no need to send me off. Luo Feng turned and left. The Flare Emperor's expression changed. From the beginning to the end, he didn't dare to directly say no. He always wanted Luo Feng to back off. If Luo Feng really did back off, then the Flare Emperor believed that with Mountain Passenger's personality, he wouldn't interfere. After all, Luo Feng was the one who gave up on the armor. This matter, no matter what, he, the Flare Emperor, couldn't just not give it to him. That would be going against Mountain Passenger's orders. Third Junior, shouted the Flare Emperor. Luo Feng didn't stop, flying straight out. Stop! The Flare Emperor shouted softly. The surrounding space shook. Luo Feng felt the scene before him change, and he was back in the palace. Luo Feng looked at the Flare Emperor. Why are you forcefully stopping me? I still have to go see Teacher Mountain Passenger. When did I say I wouldn't give you the armor? I only said that you're still very weak. The Flare Emperor frowned. Since you insist on taking it, then as your senior, I've said all that needs to be said and warned you. If you don't listen to me, there's nothing I can do. If you lose the armor in the future, don't blame me. This is the armor. The Flare Emperor flipped his hand and a translucent armor that looked like it was carved out of a huge diamond appeared in his palm. The translucent armor had engravings on it, sometimes visible and sometimes hidden. The entire armor in his palm was like an unreachable god mountain pressing down on his heart, causing Luo Feng to hold his breath. Luo Feng stared at the armor, unable to contain his excitement. Armor! This was the armor! It had produced large amounts of armors, general armors, emperor armors. It was an absolute treasure that Mountain Passenger had prepared for his third disciple. Even the pinnacle of universe lords, the Flare Emperor, couldn't bear to part with this armor. After all, over the years, he hadn't been able to rely on himself to obtain a treasure that could compare to the armor and flame god halberd. Still not taking it? The Flare Emperor said. Luo Feng immediately extended his hand. His god energy was like silk, wrapping around the armor. A thread of god energy drilled into the armor, imprinting his life within. Simultaneously, the armor immediately sent an ancient message into Luo Feng's consciousness. So, Luo Feng flipped his hand and kept the armor in his world ring. Second Senior, I'll be leaving first. If there's a chance in the future, I'll come see you again. Luo Feng smiled. I'm here, Third Junior, you can come anytime. The Flare Emperor said. Luo Feng turned and stepped forward, swiftly leaving the main palace. After a while, he followed the endless flames of the palace and left. As the palace was completely isolated from the space ripples of the outside world, there was no way to teleport out from within. Probably only the master of the palace, the Flare Emperor, could teleport out. So, the moment he left the palace, Luo Feng immediately teleported and swiftly left. Using the god country teleportation of the slaves, he swiftly left the flame god race territory. The Flare Emperor stood outside the main palace, leaning on the railing and gazing through space, watching Luo Feng leave through the god country teleportation. Humph. Third Junior, the Flare Emperor said softly. Powerful, the life and death inheritance, the previous two geniuses all died, yet he actually succeeded. Even though he said Luo Feng was lucky before, the Flare Emperor was very clear. The sitting mountain guest had cast a wide net when choosing a disciple. There were countless life forms on Earth, and in trillions of years, only Luo Feng had succeeded. This wasn't just because the sitting mountain guest nurtured him, it was also because Luo Feng himself was very outstanding. The Flare Emperor had experienced many trials and tribulations back then, and he was very clear that the sitting mountain guest didn't set him too hard. The life and death inheritance that his third junior encountered was truly terrifying. The armor was eventually taken by him. The Flare Emperor gradually calmed down. Even though he was wary of Luo Feng, he didn't put him to heart. After all, even if Luo Feng became a universe lord and had a star pagoda, he would at most be one of the most terrifying beings amongst the universe lords. He could suppress him, but not kill him. Unless Luo Feng became the strongest in the universe. How rare are the strongest in the universe? A race with the strongest in the universe is the pinnacle of races. A power with the strongest in the universe is the pinnacle of the universe. The Flare Emperor sighed. They are able to reverse spacetime and revive the hegemons of the universe, and they are able to easily resist the backlash of the universe. Their abilities are incomparably heaven-defying. Wherever they go, they control the heavens and earth. Their words are law, and even the laws of the universe have to temporarily retreat. Teacher Sitting Mountain Guest is one of them. Becoming the strongest, only then will I be the true ruler. The Flare Emperor's eyes were filled with desire. He had an intense, unyielding ambition, and because of this ambition, he was able to raise his strength rapidly. Even though he had the sitting mountain guest to nurture him, in terms of training, he had to rely on himself to comprehend and break through. He was currently already at the pinnacle of the universe lord. As long as he took one more step, he would reach the highest position, and that would be the strongest in the universe. What was the strongest? Just the 3 words "the strongest" represented the most fundamental meaning, and that was the absolute strongest. Wanting to lead a power, one would be able to dominate a region of the universe. Wanting to be alone, the rest of the universe wouldn't dare provoke them. Wanting to recruit geniuses, one could rush to other races to snatch them, and no one would dare stop them. This was the strongest in the universe. Just one more step, teacher sitting mountain guest, and I will be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with you. Only this last step. The Flare Emperor immediately turned and returned to the main palace. Human territory, Ganwu Universe Country, in space. Ma Shi Luo Feng walked out of a deep hole on a normal desolate planet. This place is about 3,300 light-years away from my god country. The Ma Shi clansman took a step forward. So, he was already 1,000 light-years away. In terms of compatibility with space, the Ma Shi clansman was actually stronger than the universe paragons. After absorbing the essence of a space heart and transforming it into a special life form, the Ma Shi clansman's compatibility with space had reached an extremely high level. It even had the innate ability domain. Back then, he could teleport over 100 light-years in one go. And after reaching undying, be it God's strength, consciousness, etc., his senses were much stronger. His teleportation distance was no less than a night. So, with 3 teleportations, he tore through space and entered a space crevice, and with another teleportation, he arrived in his god country. The god country was boundless, and the endless dark ocean was also slowly expanding. In the air above the endless dark ocean, within the shrine that was glowing with a glaring gold light, Luo Feng, who had teleported, walked out. With a step, he stood on the surface of the endless dark ocean. Calamity armor. On the surface of Luo Feng's godly body, there was a layer of transparent armor. The armor and the godly body were one. It was as though every tiny part of the armor had completely fused with every cell in Luo Feng's body. An endless amount of energy filled Luo Feng's godly body. This energy was boundless and unparalleled. Luo Feng closed his eyes and immersed himself in its power. Indeed, a treasure that teacher mountain traveler specially prepared for me. Luo Feng sighed softly. Back at the Flare Emperor's place, he had already received news of the armor. The Calamity armor was a very special armor. It was different from the other treasures. Normal treasures relied on origin law comprehension to activate them. And this armor had nothing to do with origin law comprehension. Instead, it relied on the strength of the body. Just like the soldier armor, general armor, and emperor armor, it had extremely high requirements for the body. This armor was the same. The stronger the body, the more power the armor could unleash. Rumble! A huge silhouette suddenly appeared in the distant sky. It was the golden-horned beast. Let's try this armor. Luo Feng smiled. So, a crystal armor separated from Luo Feng's body and became a beam of light, flying straight into the golden-horned beast and entering its body. P.S. 2 chapters completed. Next Monday, requesting recommendation votes. We need to maintain our first position on the recommendation board. Asterisk to be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1056. Luo Feng received the armor and completely felt its power. Only then did his consciousness connect to the virtual universe, preparing to inform his teacher Tru Yen that he was heading to the primal star. Virtual universe, Thunder Island's mountainside was almost boundless. Before Tru Yan's palace, there were 6 silhouettes sitting there, drinking and chatting. According to legend, a magnificent divine temple suddenly rose up on a vast plain on one of the primitive stars. There was an ancient stone tablet in front of the divine temple, and detailed information about a top-notch treasure was recorded on the stone tablet. With this treasure, one would be able to escape and shake off the enemy, and in battle, one would be able to easily shatter layers of space. It was absolutely a first-rate treasure for escaping and attacking. This top-notch treasure was called the Heavenly Gilt Sail. A muscular man with a triangular head grabbed a strange wine flask and gulped down large mouthfuls of it. He clicked his tongue and sighed. Immediately, 3 universe lords, 18 universe overlords, and over 100 universe supremacies rushed into this temple. Soon, the temple closed. 6 years later, the temple opened again, but only half survived. It's said that the heavenly gilded sail was eventually taken by the Universe Lord of the Northern Border Alliance. Is that true, Izhou Knight? Don't brag like last time. Izhou Knight, how come we don't know about this? The other 5 knights including True Yen laughed beside him. Izhou Knight stared, his eyes wide open. Brag? I didn't brag the last time either. But what you said last time was the story of the opening of the primal star. A werewolf knight covered in green fur mocked. The heavenly gilt sail I was talking about was the top treasure that appeared during the opening of the primal star. Izhou Knight stared. I've made countless friends. Many of them have returned from the primal star and told me all sorts of stories. I only found out about the heavenly gilt sail today and immediately told you all. You even said I was bragging. If you don't believe me, just wait and see. In a few years, when the news of the heavenly gilt sail spreads, you all will know. Don't be angry, Izhou Knight. Tell us more about the appearance of this top treasure. Tell us more, I'll prepare some wine for you. The other venerables laughed and said. Only then did Honorable Ingzhou feel pleased with himself. He gulped down all the wine in the flagon, then handed it over and said, Fill it up. You're being too greedy. These supreme treasures are so valuable that even the masters of the universe would go crazy over them. Supremacy Guizhou shook his head and sighed. The primal star has only been open for a little over 100 years. How could there be so many stories of supreme treasures? If a few more supreme treasures appear, I'm afraid some of the universe lords will fall. Hey look! Isn't that the Blade River Emperor Luo Feng? Zhen Yan, your disciple is here. These knights looked at the distant silhouette flying over. It was Luo Feng. I heard that your disciple was chased by countless foreign experts in the Flame God race's territory over 100 years ago, but he was fine. Zhen Yan, at least your disciple's escape methods are better than yours. Of course you're stronger than me. Zhen Yan smiled. He is the future pillar of the human race. Of course, he has powerful life-saving means. During the conversation, Luo Feng had already flown over. Teacher. Luo Feng smiled. Luo Feng, come, sit. Zhen Yan pointed to a seat beside him. Luo Feng smiled and sat. He looked at the other knights and smiled. Everyone is here. We don't dare go to the primal star's opening. But we should at least listen to the news and learn more about it. An old man with long fur all over his body that looked like a lion smiled. Right, Blade River Emperor, I heard you wanted to go to the primal star. Why haven't you gone yet? The moment one entered the primal star, there was no way to connect to the virtual universe. How do you know Blade River Emperor hasn't gone yet? He has his talent in cloning technique. Maybe he left one in our human territory. Naturally he can enter the virtual universe anytime. Supremacy Guizhou stared. That makes sense. Supremacy Guizhou is right. The others all laughed and looked at Luo Feng. Blade River Emperor, have you gone to the primal star yet? Not yet. Luo Feng smiled. However, I'll be there soon. I'm here to tell my teacher that I'm about to enter the primal star. Immediately, Venerable True Yen was slightly surprised. Blade River Emperor, who are you going with? Don't tell me you're going alone. The Wolfman Knight said. Luo Feng nodded. I'll go in alone. That's too dangerous. Even the high-level knights of the universe have fallen. Blade River Emperor, it's best you work with the other warriors. They all advised. Luo Feng smiled. No problem, I'll gain some experience. I have some detailed information about the primal star. It's all about the things that have happened over these 100 years. Supremacy Guizhou's bronze bell-like eyes looked at Luo Feng. I like to make friends and gather information. The amount of information I have, even if I don't dare say I'm number one, I'm definitely in the top 3. When I return, I'll send you a copy of the information. Take a good look at it before you enter. You'll have a better understanding of the situation on the primal star. Luo Feng was overjoyed within. Thank you, Supremacy Guizhou. Supremacy Guizhou indeed has a lot of information. Tru Yen smiled and nodded. However, Blade River Emperor. Supremacy Guizhou stared. The more I gather, the more I feel that the danger within the primal star is completely random. Before, it's incomparably calm. Who knows, treasures might suddenly appear. That commotion would immediately attract the absolute warriors, and the weak would immediately be annihilated. From what I see, with your strength entering, along with the treasures you have, you'll attract the jealousy of the other races. I'm afraid your chances of surviving won't exceed 10%. 10%? It can't be. Luo Feng has the natural talent domain, it won't exceed 10%? The other knights all shook their heads. Before, Luo Feng had escaped from the pursuit of large numbers of the other races. His name had spread far and wide. Luo Feng was stunned. That low? Is it because of the Universe Lords? Luo Feng frowned. The Universe Lords are strong. This time, the primal star has gathered more than half of the Universe Lords. However, it's after all scattered across the 10081 primal stars. The total number of Universe Lords is very small. Most of the primal stars don't even have a Universe Lord. The chances of meeting a Universe Lord is still very low. I said your chances of surviving are low. It's not because of the Universe Lord. It's because of the environment of the primal star. Venerable Guizhou said, every primeval star is only so big, yet so many high-level venerables and universe hegemons of the universe are gathered there. The moment you are discovered, those foreign race experts will immediately target your innate ability, domain, making it impossible for you to escape before killing you. Luo Feng nodded. Yes. Once a trump card is revealed, it's no longer a trump card. Even though the domain technique was heaven-defying, it wasn't invincible. As long as a few overlords prepared and worked together, it wouldn't be hard to break it. Even some overlords with heaven-defying methods could break it by themselves. Hence it's best you have a partner. The knight said, they complement each other. If you meet any danger, you can rely on your natural talent domain to escape. And if there's danger, you'll have to rely on your partner to get through it. Thank you, Knight Yui. Luo Feng smiled. I'll send the information to you now. The knight said. Immediately Luo Feng received a mail. Within the mail was a huge amount of detailed information. There were words, pictures, videos, etc. It was all related to the opening of the primal star over 100 years ago. Luo Feng sighed within. Luckily, he already had the armor. With the armor, it's like I'm wearing a castle. Luo Feng thought, along with the Masha clan's transformation and energy duplication methods, who would recognize me as Blade River Emperor Luo Feng. Before in the God Country, his earth body and the golden horned beast had both tried the armor and felt its power. It was exactly the same as when he first recognized the armor as its owner. This made Luo Feng exclaim. The armor was indeed an absolute treasure. No wonder even a being like Flame Emperor had to resort to such despicable methods. After all, the armor was indeed heaven-defying. Luo Feng estimated that it was even more heaven-defying than Qian Baohe. The armor was made by the mountain guest. It was a very special treasure armor, different from the other treasures Luo Feng knew of. Like the Killer Wu Wings, Golden Zhen Ho armor, Ancient Ship Milky Way, these all required extremely high comprehension of the origin laws to be used. Like Luo Feng, he could only use the second form of the Killer Wu Wings and Golden Zhen Ho armor. The ancient ship Milky Way hadn't even reached its limit yet. However, the armor was completely different. Soldier armor, general armor, emperor armor, it had nothing to do with origin law comprehension, it had to do with one's body strength. The armor was the same. It had to do with one's body strength. If one's body wasn't strong enough, it didn't matter how high one's origin law comprehension was. If one's body was strong enough, even if one's origin law comprehension was extremely low, it wouldn't matter. The armor was split into 3 forms. The first form required 100 million sector lords strength to activate. After activating, it could block and weaken physical attacks to 1/1000 of its original strength. Soul attacks to 1/10 of its original strength. And it gave the user 1 billion sector lords strength. The second form required 100 billion sector lords strength to activate. After activating, it could weaken physical attacks to 1/10,000 of its original strength. Soul attacks to 1/10 of its original strength. And it gave the user a trillion sector lords strength. The third form required 100 trillion sector lords strength to activate. After activating, it could weaken physical attacks to 1/100,000th of its original strength. Soul attacks to 1/10 of its original strength. And it gave the user a trillion sector lords strength. This was an extremely heaven-defying defense treasure. A universe lord, the moment he ignited his body to activate it, he could activate the third form. Relying on it, he could completely block other universe lords' absolute treasures and material attacks. In terms of material attacks, there was practically no threat, unless one met an even more heaven-defying attack treasure, like an absolute treasure. If such an absolute treasure were to appear on the primal star, it would be enough to cause many universe lords to fight it out. Hence, it was normal for 1 or 2 universe lords to fall. P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1057. Thunder Island, within Luo Feng's palace. Within a quiet study. Luo Feng carefully flipped through the information regarding the primal star, nodding to himself. Powerful, this Ming Zhou Knight's information is indeed detailed. My plan will work. It's really dangerous. It's completely a place of the strong. Luo Feng couldn't help but exclaim softly, my other 3 bodies have already reached the primal star pathway. About 10 billion light-years away from the human domain, there were no planets in this part of the sky. Only a few storms of electromagnetic fluid could be seen. A 12 m tall silhouette stood in space. He had a pair of silver horns, purple eyes, his entire body covered in a layer of gray scales. Simultaneously he had a scorpion tail, emitting a bloodthirsty and tyrannical energy. On his shoulder sat a 1 m long beast. This beast had 2 wings, 5 golden horns on its head, 4 thick hooves and a tail that waved about like a lizard. If one was knowledgeable very quickly, one would be able to recognize that the human-like form, curved horns, gray scales, scorpion tail was the space beast purple chrysalis. There were many different forms of beasts, some were human-like, the purple chrysalis was one of them. The purple chrysalis were famous for their bloodthirsty nature. Of course, most of the space beasts were extremely bloodthirsty. Many warriors would be able to recognize the 1 m long beast on the purple chrysalis shoulder. It was one of the 12 pinnacle bloodlines of the space beasts, the golden-horned beast. Haha, I'm afraid even teacher wouldn't be able to recognize me if he met me. Luo Feng smiled. The Masha clansman, transforming into the purple chrysalis form, its energy is copied into nothingness, there's no energy at all. Luo Feng caressed the golden-horned beast on his shoulder. The Masha clansman is hidden in the world ring within its body, hiding the ocean clone. Its energy is completely released through the world ring. Luo Feng smiled. If other warriors saw the Masha clansman, they would only feel a bloodthirsty and ferocious energy. This energy was vast and powerful, it was definitely at the level of a powerful universe knight. The energy was related to the divine body. The stronger the divine body, the stronger the energy. Just like some universe overlords, the reason why they became universe overlords was because their comprehension of the laws was higher and they created stronger technique. Just the surface aura alone was not much different from some universe supremacies. Hence, if an unfamiliar universe overlord didn't actively reveal his strength, it would be impossible to determine that he was a universe overlord. Luo Feng's ocean clone had a body with 100 million sector lord strength. Along with its huge body, the energy it emitted was extremely strong. It definitely belonged to the stronger level of a knight. Of course, the aura of the golden horned beast was even stronger. The current 1m long golden horned beast was in fact the form of deities of the world and beast god transformation, of which deities of the world was created during the 80,000 years when Luo Feng was creating his ultimate technique. He had bought large amounts of precious materials to train in. After all, the value of a sector lord level cultivator was relatively low. Secondly, Luo Feng's status was extremely high back then, and he had many treasures on him. Selling any one of them would be able to exchange for many precious materials. Naturally, he easily trained deities of the world to the pinnacle of perfection, a full 36x amplifier. Once he mastered deity of the world, his body would be able to reach a length of 100,000 kilometers and a length of 1 meter. It wouldn't affect his strength at all. Deities of the world's amplifier of 36x, beast god transformation's third level amplifier of 8x. These two combined, there was a certain amount of overlap. However, it only allowed the golden horned beast's body to reach 45x. If it were to use its natural talent strengthening, it could easily reach 90x. My Masha clansman's energy is equivalent to a higher level of a universe knight, and the golden horned beast's energy is much stronger. Luo Feng thought. Luo Feng looked at the golden horned beast on his shoulder. The golden horned beast looked over too. The two exchanged glances. Haha, anyone who sees us would probably think we're the two warriors of the Space Beast Alliance. Luo Feng smiled. The universe's 9 great powers were the 6 great races: Ancestral God Sect, Northern Border Alliance, and Space Beast Alliance. The ones that fought the most were the 6 great races and the Northern Border Alliance. And the Ancestral God Sect and the Space Beast Alliance were more special. Firstly, the Ancestral God Sect didn't fight for territory or the world. As for the Space Beast Alliance, they were even more rare. Normal space beasts were extremely rare. Even the location of the Space Beast Alliance's base was one of the universe's biggest secrets. Even though there were occasionally special places like the Primal Star, where some treasures were born, and occasionally the Space Beast Alliance's warriors would appear, they still didn't know where the base of the Space Beast Alliance was. A very special power. Similarly, they didn't fight for territory. Their race's space beasts were scattered all over the universe. My human identity is famous throughout the universe. The moment I appear on the Primal Star, I'll probably be treated as a moving treasure trove. I'll definitely be ambushed and killed, or even be surrounded by different races. Luo Feng looked at his gray-scaled armor. Right now, if I go out with this identity, I won't be conspicuous. I won't be ambushed and killed. The Primal Star was after all a gathering of the strong from the different races. They were usually wary of each other. Without a guarantee, without enough temptation, they wouldn't easily act. Blade River Emperor Luo Feng was an extreme temptation, and the 2 Space Beast warriors were definitely not to be trifled with. Luo Feng looked ahead. Within the electromagnetic energy storm, there was a huge whirlpool. The diameter of the whirlpool was about 10 billion kilometers. It emitted an endless glaring rainbow light, causing the surrounding space to warp and distort. Just the pressure from this whirlpool alone was enough to crush a normal undying into nothing. Primal Star Passage, Luo Feng said softly. So, On his shoulder lay the cute little golden-horned beast. With a step, he entered the beautiful passage. As he flew in, the pressure got stronger and stronger. Rumble, the pressure caused the space to warp and rumble. Luo Feng immediately vanished into the depths of the passage. A tall, evil silhouette flew out of the glaring whirlpool. That bloody aura made one's heart tremble. There was also an even more tyrannical and cold aura. These two auras were emitted from the tall silhouette and the cute little beast. This is the primal star. Luo Feng stood in mid-air and looked into the distance. Behind him was the whirlpool passage, and it was in mid-air. Vast and boundless. Luo Feng stood in mid-air, feeling the endless pressure on his body. This terrifying pressure far exceeded Neutron Star, and also far exceeded the pressure he felt in Qing Fu Ko's ice prison back then. Luo Feng slowly descended, stepping on the forest filled with fallen leaves. There were a total of 10,081 primal stars, every one of them were the same size, with a diameter of about 100 billion kilometers. The space ripples on the entire primal star had completely stopped, and that powerful pressure was enough to make normal undyings disappear. This pressure caused the space to tremble, making it impossible to teleport from God Country. Unable to teleport from God Country, with a diameter of 100 billion kilometers, to an absolute warrior, it didn't seem big. However, one had to know, under such terrifying pressure, even though Luo Feng and the others could accelerate to near light speed, it would still take a long time. Sudden changes in direction, speed and movement would obviously be much slower than the outside world. This extreme pressure, it was almost like a huge domain treasure unleashed its domain. The pressure is huge. My Masha clansman has a 100 times life genetic level, reaching 10 million times Sector Lord strength. I didn't expect it to be so tough to even walk on the primal star. Luo Feng walked carefully, the golden-horned beast on his shoulder. In an instant, he walked out of the forest and reached the foot of the mountain. In the distance was the vast wilderness. Luo Feng walked forward, simultaneously feeling the energy. According to the information from Ming Zhou Night, feeling the energy on the primal star was a method many warriors chose to search for treasures. After a while, rumble, an energy ripple traveled a long distance and reached Luo Feng. It's there. Luo Feng turned fiercely and looked into the distance. Rumble. Luo Feng immediately became a beam of light and his speed soared. However, as he went faster, the resistance grew stronger. The Masha clansman's 10 million times Sector Lord's strength was obviously unable to take it. What a heavy pressure, burning my god energy. Luo Feng even began to burn his god energy. Under the powerful energy, his speed immediately soared and quickly reached sub-light speed, flying into the distance. Below was the endless wilderness. Luo Feng continued to fly. Soon, he saw the figures of 5 experts fighting on the hills in the distance. So, Luo Feng swiftly landed. 5 universe knights. Luo Feng glanced over. One of them was obviously from the demon race. Their bodies were huge and their auras filled the skies. The other was a mix of races, allowing Luo Feng to swiftly judge. One side is the demon race, the other seems to be from the 9 Territories Alliance. The universe's 9 great superpowers and 12 great powers. The 12 great powers, in terms of race numbers and number of knights, they might not be weaker than the Human Alliance or the Demon Alliance. It was just that they didn't have the strongest in the universe. There's still 6 strong squads watching. Luo Feng glanced over. Obviously the battle here had attracted many other races. Other than his wave, there were 6 other waves. It was just that everyone watched from afar and didn't interfere. Prison Clan Alliance, Crystal Clan Alliance, Thorn Ring Alliance, and the Space Beast Alliance's warriors. It's just 3 treasures, we've already gotten 2. Let's go, we'll temporarily let the 3 from the 9 Territories Alliance go. A huge 3-headed beast communicated. Space Beast Alliance. Another huge tortoise-shell demon looked over at Luo Feng. Let's go. The demon race and the Space Beast Alliance had quite a bit of history. The demon race had always thought the space beasts were a part of the demon race. So, the two demon race universe venerables instantly turned into streams of light and quickly flew away. The 3-9 Territories Alliance universe venerables also looked around and quickly flew away. P.S. 2 chapters completed. Recommendation votes. Brothers and sisters, please help me out. The recommendation votes are currently number 2. I need everyone's support. Asterisk to be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1058. The Demon and 9 Territories warriors that were fighting left, and the 7 waves of warriors that were attracted by the commotion naturally looked at each other from afar, after which they dispersed and left. It's the same as what Zhou Yuan Knight's information said. Luo Feng flew slowly above the wasteland. The golden-horned beast obediently sat on his shoulder. The warriors of the primal star are all very cautious, without enough treasure to attract them, or with 100% confidence, they won't easily make a move. Earlier when the demon and 9 territories were fighting, there wasn't any treasure energy at all. I reckon there were only a few treasures. Treasures, if their energy was concealed, just from the looks of it, it was hard to tell if they were treasures or not. However, the primal star was different. The primal star was a treasure planet, with many treasures. The appearance of treasures didn't cause much of a commotion. Some of the top treasures might cause a little commotion, but the appearance of treasures would definitely cause a commotion. The bigger the commotion, the higher the level of the treasure. There were even palaces that would specially appear from underground, and within those palaces were treasures, etc. in one sentence. The bigger the commotion, the higher the level of treasure. Luo Feng glanced at the distant space whirlpool. Another whirlpool passage. I wonder which primal star this passage leads to. According to the information, 10081 primal stars. Every primal star had a total of 10,081 whirlpool tunnels in mid-air. One of them was the exit. Luo Feng came through the whirlpool tunnel exit. The other 10,080 passages led to the other 10,080 primal stars. The warriors searching for treasures in the primal star wouldn't foolishly run around. They would all guard one place and wait, sensing the energy. The moment there's any special commotion, they would immediately rush over. Luo Feng decided to follow the ancient experiences of the primal stars. So, immediately rushing down, Luo Feng flew into a short ancient forest. This mountain was about 1,000 kilometers tall, taller than any mountain on Earth. However, it was considered a short mountain on the primal star. There were many ancient trees and flowers growing on it. It was beautiful. Stepping on the fallen leaves, Luo Feng walked slowly. The pressure on the primal star is huge. Weaker undyings would perish, but these trees, flowers and mountains are perfectly fine. Luo Feng looked at the short and sturdy tree that was at least 30 m thick. Without a doubt, these branches, flowers, etc., can all be used to create normal undying weapons. They are definitely valuable materials. Luo Feng understood this, but he wouldn't take it, because there were pioneers in history who had done this before. Pung! Luo Feng kicked the trunk of the tree with a strong god force. He felt as though the entire tree was one with the land. With this kick, his entire body was knocked flying, crashing into the distant flowers and grass, crushing many of them before standing up. It's true, the plants here are one with the primordial star. Also, according to the information, flowers and trees are very difficult to damage. Even if a super expert damages the flowers and trees, they will regrow and grow back to their original state. Luo Feng first used his god energy to isolate the surroundings, following which his god energy ignited in his right leg, his power exploding. With a rumble, he fiercely stomped on the ground, causing large amounts of soil to fly everywhere, immediately creating a hole. Luo Feng stood at the side and watched quietly. After a while, the soil that was scattered in the surroundings disappeared into thin air, and the pit from before was filled up, returning to its original state. It's indeed like that. Luo Feng exclaimed within, what a mysterious primordial star. On the primordial star, anything that seemed to be one with the primordial star, like the soil, flowers, trees, etc., even though they could be taken away by force, they would quickly return to their original positions on the primordial star. Everything was destined to be useless. Only items that weren't one with the primordial star, like some treasures that had been born, etc., could be taken away. Feeling the wonders of the primordial star, Luo Feng strolled in the forest, observing everything within. Chi. Luo Feng kicked a hard object. With his god energy, normal rocks would be kicked away, and the soil would be flattened. Luo Feng looked down. A silver-white horn emerged from the ground. On it there was still a lot of soil. Luo Feng carefully felt it. That silver-white horn was not normal. Luo Feng blinked. My luck can't be that good. Luo Feng muttered within. There were many treasures on the primordial star. Some of them didn't cause any commotion when they were born, hence they could appear in rivers, in the soil, etc. To be able to step on treasures while walking, this had happened many times in history. Stepping on treasures while walking? Luo Feng squatted down, his right hand landing on the horn, his sharp nails grabbing it tightly. His god energy was like threads wrapping around the horn. Hua! He used force. Like plucking a carrot, the soil fell off and a half-a-meter-tall silver cube was plucked out by Luo Feng. With a sweep of his god energy, the soil fell off and an exquisite silver cube with ancient origin law engravings was revealed. The energy was faint, obviously it was a treasure. Ha 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 ha, no wonder back then when the Nine-Blade Knight borrowed treasures from me, he was willing to give me 10 treasures as a reward. Luo Feng was all smiles. On the primordial star, there are so many treasures, I can even step on one while walking. Stepping on treasures while walking, that was considered lucky. However, there were indeed many treasures on the primordial star. As long as one stayed on the primordial star long enough, getting 10 to 100 treasures wasn't hard. One could totally exchange for a full set of treasures. And these treasures could be disassembled too. The materials that could be disassembled were hard to find normally. After disassembling large amounts of treasures, using countless precious materials, gathering them together, there was definitely hope of creating a normal treasure. Being able to refine ordinary supreme treasures was already very difficult. After all, to refine supreme treasures such as Tribulation Armor, Origin Soul, and Flame God Halberd, perhaps only Mountain Guest, who refined treasures alone in the universe, could do it. Luo Feng's life imprint was imprinted on the cube. Immediately the treasure became his, information was transmitted over, the silver cube swiftly shrunk, becoming the size of a peach, almost like a Rubik's cube. Ha, it's actually a sealing treasure, with a sealed space within, it's not any weaker than a sealing star. Luo Feng nodded satisfactorily. To get a treasure on the first day of coming to Primordial Star, if I could get one every day, staying here for hundreds or thousands of years, how many treasures would I get? Haha. Luo Feng knew it was impossible, however the feeling of stepping on treasures while walking was very satisfying. Luo Feng walked for half a day in the forest. Unfortunately, he didn't manage to step on another treasure. After which, he randomly found a place and sat crossed-legged on a fallen leaf, waiting silently. Time passed, the primordial star's opening lasted for a total of 1,000 eras. It was destined that the chances of treasures appearing were very small, only appearing once in a long while. Sets of treasures and normal treasures became the most commonly fought over. The common ones here required a bit of luck. Like Luo Feng, he had been on Primordial Star for 2 years, yet he hadn't even seen a single set of treasures. Even though he had felt the energy of the treasures 3 times, even though the energy was weak, how strong were the warrior's senses? Luo Feng was further away, Those 3 times when the treasures appeared, by the time he rushed over, the fight for the treasures had long ended. Look. I didn't even get a single set of treasures. It's been 2 years, and I've only gotten 2 treasures. How pitiful! Luo Feng stood at the peak of the ancient forest, gazing into the distance. 2 years to get 2 treasures, this efficiency was considered average. After all, on Primordial Star, one was risking one's life. Just like how Luo Feng was currently disguised as a warrior of the Space Beast Alliance, as the Space Beast Alliance was very mysterious, hence, the other races normally wouldn't come and mess with the Space Beast Alliance warriors. In these 2 years, Luo Feng and the golden horned beast on his shoulder had long since become famous. At least many of the warriors recognized and remembered them. The Human Race Alliance, Demon Alliance, Automaton Alliance and Bug Clan Alliance, their battles are really vicious. Luo Feng muttered, with just a little reason, the battle could erupt. These 4 great races were adjacent to each other. With the accumulation of hatred, the battles on Primordial Star were also vicious. Luo Feng's life was too short. Even though he had experienced the Bug Clan spy blowing up a planet and the other races sending Swamp Corrosion Knight to assassinate him, from an emotional point of view, even though he hated them, his hatred towards the Bug Clan, Demon Clan and Automaton Clan wasn't that intense to the point of insanity. The truly long-lived human warriors, however, were different. They had lived for too long, and had too many grudges with these 3 great races, fighting over and over again, accumulating hatred over and over again. The hatred was huge. I've been here for 2 years, yet I've never fought a single battle. Luo Feng exclaimed within. Just as Luo Feng was exclaiming, a special energy emanated. The experienced Luo Feng was stunned, immediately reacting, it's a set treasure, or even a normal treasure. And this energy seems to be very close. Luo Feng was excited. The previous 3 times he hadn't even touched the treasure, this time he was finally close. So, Luo Feng's Masha clansman immediately ignited his god energy, his speed exploding. Rumble! He immediately flew towards the source of the energy. The energy is quite strong. It's a set treasure, it could even be a treasure. A giant man of the prison clan, who was more than 10 kilometers tall and had golden flames all over his body, and 2 universe venerables, who were more than 100 meters tall and had 12 pairs of black wings and were covered in black scales, flew over together. The energy of a treasure being born. It's a treasure. The 6 teams in the surrounding area quickly rushed over. As the aura spread out, some of the other race universe venerate teams that were far away also quickly flew over in 2s and 3s. P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation.